vertical. There we go. Then we're going to get live on TikTok here in a second. There we go. Perfect. And then I'll get to log in. Beautiful.
Do you guys know what Buc-ee's is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the gas station.
I'm going to one today.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad.
It's like the Walmart of, or no, it's like the Disneyland of gas stations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably, that's okay way to say it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I had to join the live.
My wife is very excited.
Hold on.
Good morning to everybody who's watching.
For just a second, I heard your voice in there twice because you hadn't turned your TikTok mic off yet. I don't fucking tell me there's an echo.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're good.
Tracing through all the connections of like what routes into what to try to figure out.
Well, it was messy too because I designed a soundboard to live in the web browser to run this, and it was one of those things where it was a little bit painful getting it to work.
Did you make this with your own coding prowess, or did you like vibe code this with Claude?
Ended up having to do both. Claude is a little bit clunky, I guess you would say. I like it up in here, but yeah, it made the process a lot faster.
Oh
way faster.
If I could just like spend like a minute talking about things that literally nobody in our audience cares about, I definitely think that like AI coding is the future of coding. Like in the same way that computer science and coding used to be, like you'd need to like go and like punch out like all of the cards, and then it would be like assembly language or some shit like that. But now the computer does that all in the background. I think that it's kind of going to go the same route with coding, where Claude is going to do all of the coding in the background, and then the role of like the software engineer is going to be something different.
I think that's going to be the case. Yeah, the role of the software engineer is going to be doing the highly technical stuff, and that's just going to be the way it is.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second though. I'm looking through the through the chats. I saw a super chat come in real quick, but it looks like we're pulling chats from a different stream. So give me one second.
I should open up the stream.
Yeah, let me make sure I set it properly.
Also, my computer may. Okay, so it's called Stream. I don't want to say it out loud because it's not public.
Right.
Almost did. But I actually don't remember what the link is, so I'll go find it somewhere.
I'll send it to you. I
found it. Yeah, I have a bad habit. Like it's not my fault, I promise, but I have a bad habit of. Oh wait, it changed now. Okay.
Well, the old URL will get you there anyways. It's just that I shortened it, made it easier to remember and less goofy.
Oh, I have a so. Okay.
What's up?
Sorry, my password manager didn't know because you changed the site name.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's annoying.
Wow, this guy doesn't just use that. Look at this guy with good cybersecurity, not just using the same password for every site.
I mean, I do.
Wow, look at this guy complaining about nothing then.
Well, except for every site that I manually used, I definitely don't use the same password. But for all the sites that I have signed up for since I started using a password manager, I try to be good. Anyway, what I was saying is that I have a really bad habit, and please don't blame me for this, but I have a really bad habit of running my mouth about things that I'm supposed to be keeping secret on accident.
Sure.
It happened like 2 nights ago, right? Like just completely by accident, and my wife got mad at me for good reason. It was my fault, but just no. I just need to talk less and listen more. That's what they say, right?
Wow. Hamilton reference?
Anyways, give me 1 second. We've got one guest. Well, we had two. We had one guest, now two guests waiting to get into the conversation. We've got a couple people already here. And I think we got a couple super chats already. So give me just a second. And
Oh, how
we'll
do
get
I?
everything ready to go.
I need to join. Wait, no. I don't want to join the thing. How do I go participate in the group?
Yeah, just click on that little box. It'll be good to go.
Wait a minute. I'm confused. What little box?
At the top of the screen.
Oh.
Well, I can't see your screen, but
Wait a minute. Okay, so there's two join streams. Which one do I join?
both of them. We got two streams going.
Oh.
Wait,
All right,
what? Wait, what is this for?
so you
What the
can
dickens?
so you can see the
Are
the
these are all
dashboard.
these super chats from? There are 53 super chats from today.
No, some are super chats and some are regular chats.
Okay,
They're
because it says super chat total 53 paid messages.
Oh yeah, if you're looking at that, yeah. Well, there's 53 probably messages. I don't think all of them are
Okay, then
super chats.
that's an error.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
Indeed, it is.
No one's worried about that. Although mine says 2, but
mine says
so
53.
I don't know why. So we got both streams are up and running. We've got I see 2 super chats on the vertical stream. We've got a couple super chats on the horizontal stream that let me see if it actually went live. I might have grabbed the wrong stream because I see only 6 messages in there. Let me deactivate it, make sure I actually grabbed the right stream. I might have grabbed a different stream from one of my other channels. I apologize. But everything does look like it's working. I think I just grabbed the wrong link. We're just going to archive that one and grab it again. I probably could have just copy and pasted the URL as well.
So, oh, okay. No, that's good. So I guess it was displaying.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to go and grab from the Unapologetic channel, find existing streams, and let's see. We want the horizontal. Cool. Let's see if it grabs it. I know I definitely had the wrong stream because it said there was only 6 chats in it. I was like, no, there's more than 6 chats in this stream. So let's see if we get the right one this time. I had a test stream set up on my channel.
We can hear you. Hello?
Sorry.
Hello? I'm scared. Oh.
Justin isn't here.
Yeah,
Justin,
back.
You're gone. No, you're not.
Can you hear me? Oh, I should be back.
Wait, we can hear you. Apparently chat can't hear us.
Oh, on YouTube or TikTok?
On TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying, is that we're muted.
Maybe we should run a test stream.
I did last night. It worked.
With guests?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And it worked. Everything was working. I didn't just
technology
try this cold. Let me make sure the microphone's set up properly. Microphone set up properly. Our output, let me make sure I see the problem. 1 second. Okay, let's see what we get now. Can you hear us on TikTok? Oh, some people said they can hear
testing.
Now.
Can you hear us on TikTok?
We're good.
I still can't see anybody.
Yeah, I recycled my browser because I reset the room. It's a long story. I'm going to I'll show you the screen here in a second.
Okay.
All right. You should be able to see the preview now.
Oh, Great. There you go.
You should be able to see me. I should be good to go. Okay.
Okay, Justin, check Discord.
Yeah. Which do I click? Both. I said both. We've got 2 streams, remember, on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got 1 for each. Okay. So everything's good to go now.
All right. This is what I see now. By the way, this is the concern. You'll have to probably handle the super chats again because it's still not working.
Yeah. Let's see. Interesting. That is. There's an option for that. It's to totaling it wrong on your end, but not on my end, which is really weird. Wonder why it's doing it differently on your end. Oh, well, we'll worry about that later. That's really not a huge concern. It's correct on my end. Let's grab, I know why. We'll talk about it later. Let's grab our first guest. It's going to be the DBQP Smoking Infant, which is, I'm sure, absolutely not a troll account.
Oh, of course not. That'd be silly.
All right. I think I'm added. There we go. On TikTok. All right, get our first guest in here. All right, sorry about the delay there, friends. We're, I think we got everything situated. This is our first go around on this particular setup, and I'm pretty sure it's working. But I tested it last night. How you doing, DB?
The same as every day. The same as every day, man. Same as every day. How about yourselves?
I'm doing well. And DB, do you believe in God? And I was usually I'd ask if you're over the age of 18, but I think you are.
That's quite obvious. Yes. Yeah, I do. I do believe in God.
Okay, sure. And yeah. Which one?
I'm sorry?
Which one?
Which one? The one God. There is only one God. I'm one of these people who believes that there is essentially one God as described.
Oh, Marduk.
Vishnu.
Like I said, I'm not a homonym cultist.
I don't know what that means.
A homonym cultist, like someone who like designs their life around a homonym.
I don't know what that means. Marduk is a god of ancient Mesopotamia.
Yeah, sorry, forgive my ignorance. So I'm here to disagree with you guys, right?
I mean, that's the goal, right?
Well, yeah, but it's not even clear. Like, when you say that you believe in God, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what sort of characteristics does this thing have?
Like I said, man, as described.
By who?
By what?
By all sorts of people throughout human history.
They describe God differently.
In contradictory ways, in fact.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So you believe in contradictions?
I would ascribe typically the contradictions that people perceive to their misunderstanding of the concept of the whole, right? What I was going to ask, right? I had a question that I wanted to ask you guys, because you guys are like scientists, right?
Only one of us is.
Yeah, all of us, yeah.
Wait, just you, Blitz?
All of us are.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. I was like, did I wander into the wrong room? So here's my question. Which field, branch of science, right, are you approaching the God problem, as it were, from? Each of you. Can I ask that of each of you?
It's not necessarily a scientific question.
Yeah, it's quite interdisciplinary, in fact. Like,
well, the reason
of like historical research and like philosophical developments, whereas like there's also scientific developments that are telling us stuff about the natural world. I don't know, it kind of all fits together.
Well, that's good that you're taking a multidisciplinary approach to trying to find something that you're looking for or trying to identify. Correct? You're trying as scientists who may be convinced of an outcome, right? But you're still in the process of determining what the actual outcome is, right? Like you have not definitively disproven the existence of God, right?
Depends what you mean by God. Yeah, I think that you can definitively disprove the existence of like, I don't know, like the variety of like mainstream characterizations of God quite easily. Like,
Such as?
I don't know, if you believe in like a God that created out of nothing, well, this thing can't exist. Because in order for there to be like some state where it exists and there's nothing else that exists, well, it would need to undergo a change from not creating to creating, but then that would place it in time. So, you know, he couldn't be the creator of time at that point. So he couldn't have created out of nothing.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you suspect, do you suspect that the curvature of space-time itself might have a life cycle, so to speak? I'm not trying to ascribe. I'm not trying to ascribe a living.
I don't know. I frankly have no
space-time.
idea what you mean by that. You know,
Well,
for
we have
more
a stellar life
commentary and
cycle.
confusion, I'll turn it over to Dr. Blitz.
Yeah, Dr.
It's
Blitz.
not
Do you think it's possible?
I don't know what that means.
So we know about the stellar life cycle, right? I mean, like generally, I don't want to get into the specifics of different types of stars. I'm not a scientist, right? So we know that this gravitational process has stages that we can identify, right? But I'm wondering if in totality, space-time itself has what people might describe, if not out of ignorance and only by necessity to compare it to something that they're familiar with, might describe space-time as having a life cycle.
I don't think that anybody would do that. No.
Okay. See, when people talk to me about when I read or hear about the concepts like the alpha and the omega, and
those are letters.
It's something that Jesus was reputed to have said, right? He said something about he is the alpha and the omega, right?
Yeah, I think he was just using letters as a metaphor.
Right. But I'm wondering like for what, right? Because I have been
beginning and the
pondering.
end.
Yeah,
because
for being
those are the first and last letters.
Yeah, like being like the
Well,
ultimate being, right? Like being like the being that every other being traces their existence back to, presumably.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Is like personification is a technique of description, right? Personification is not necessarily a technique of specific identification, as it is a method of describing things in a way that's familiar to people who already understand concepts like human being, right?
I can't help but notice that nobody said human being. I don't think anybody did any personification just now. Can you repeat back to me what we said that alpha and omega means? Because it seems like you didn't listen at all.
Well, no, what I was saying, right?
He's not going to summarize it back to us. Yeah, go on with what you were saying.
What I was saying is I've been curious about this concept of the Einstein star, right? The white bubble, and whether it is the expansion of space-time caused by the white bubble that is responsible for what we perceive of what we perceive. God existing? Well, it's just, look, here's my take on the situation entirely, right? We don't, as modern people, right, have the impedance of scientific ignorance and of vocabulary, linguistic ignorance, right? We have a plethora of words and concepts that we can use to try to deduce what it was that they were talking about in these witness accounts, right? In these witness accounts of things that are
witness of what?
difficult to see or describe because they're witness like something that we've never seen before.
Witnesses of
right?
what?
To things that we've never seen before, and so they're relatively unfamiliar to us.
What kind of things? What kind of things?
Well, anything that could be ascribed, anything that could be described as miracle, right? There's that old saying: one person's miracle is another person's science, right?
I think this is probably going to be like a good thing to kind of get out of the way at the beginning, you know.
Please.
I think that words have specific meanings, and I think it's good to use words in meaningful ways, use them accurately as opposed to just using them because they sound nice. I can't help but notice that you just talked about how Bible scholars will be deducing miracles. That's kind of a gibberish way of using the word deduction. I can only speak to the things that I'm familiar with, but I don't know if like a core part of the strategy here relies on like saying big words and hoping that people will be like dazzled by them. I think that you'd be better off adopting a different strategy.
I try to use words that are as simple as possible in general, right? Because
But they're inaccurate.
people need
What
it.
you just said
Well,
is
listen,
inaccurate. Bible scholars don't deduce
I
things.
I think deduction is a highly appropriate word because we're
Wait, sorry.
essentially
What
trying to
what do
find
Bible scholars deduce? Go ahead.
evidence of something that we've heard about, right? We've heard some evidence, right? We've heard some
Deduction
evidence.
doesn't refer to evidence.
I'm so sorry. Please correct me. What's
Yeah,
the word that I'm
yeah.
looking for that you know?
Maybe something like inference to the best explanation. Maybe like abductive reasoning.
Abductive reasoning? So explain this. I can't Google it
Yeah.
while I'm
Abductive reasoning is when you have various hypotheses. You have like some data points and then various hypotheses. Then you're reasoning about which hypothesis best fits the data. And Justin knows way more about this than I do, but I would imagine that most Bible scholarship is something like abductive reasoning.
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
mean,
that sounds appropriate to me.
true biblical scholarship is not trying to confirm your already held beliefs.
Right. True biblical scholarship is trying to deduce, is trying to identify the meaning of what was being said, understanding that the weight of the person speaking had the weight of the words of the person speaking was disproportionate.
Mhm.
I don't really know what that means.
Me neither.
I mean, the
So
weight of the
look, so
person
look, if someone,
speaking is supposed to be
let's say,
the primary interpretive model, right? The goal is not to decide if God is speaking to you in the text. The goal is to figure out what did the author intend to say.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, the goal in typically biblical hermeneutics is not to figure out if God is speaking to you through the text. It's to figure out what the author was intending to say and how the audience would have received it.
I mean, yes, right, but it's the issue of authorship that is like this constant raging debate, especially in like the core religions of monotheism, right? A raging debate over who or what or the ability for us to identify authorship, right, in order to identify intent.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're getting at. So I'm not really sure what the argument is at the moment that you're trying to address. It sounds like you might have been touching on the idea that the Bible contains some kind of eyewitness account, but why would we believe that?
That's a great question. My answer would be you would probably only believe that if it comported with your usual life experience, right? If it was consistent with what you do throughout any given day, which is typically fairly repetitious. What is your experience, and is it similar to any of these stories that you have read from people in the past who may not have had televisions, but they did have human memory, which is an extremely powerful
Also
part of
extremely erroneous
Yeah, pretty flawed.
record.
You know what? I tell you something. If we saw, right, if we saw anything as human beings that brought us too close to having to engage our own mortality as individuals or our mortality as a species, right? Our memory would fail us. Our memory would fail us as consistently as we might hope to ourselves that what we had seen was not something that we had actually seen.
So
what?
then the Bible's memories aren't trustworthy, is what I just heard.
Well, that I would say it really it comes down to who is the reader. Who is the author? Who is the reader? If the reader and the author, if the reader can't identify the author properly, right, or the subject matter properly, then the reader becomes the problem, and that is the root of some people's distaste for religion, is that we have a lot of readers but not a lot of true fans, so to speak.
I don't know what that means. I think the reason why we don't believe in the
confused.
Christian God is because it doesn't make sense, and the Bible is kind of like demonstrably false. So there's just not a good like reason to.
Tell me something that is demonstrably false from the Bible as you see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gets history and creation like mega wrong.
Gets science wrong.
Gets science wrong.
Just give me one, single out one example for me.
Sure. So it gets
yeah, go ahead, Justin.
I say it gets a lot of things wrong historically, and even like
give me one at a time.
For example, when do you think the Exodus was? Because the Bible is going to give you two different stories, and neither one of them are going to match history.
Which aspect of the Exodus?
Actually leaving Egypt.
Actually leaving Egypt.
Yeah.
What's your specific question? What do I think that the leaving?
My question is, when do you think it happened?
How do I think, like the Red Sea and the 12 plagues?
No, when? No, when do you think it happened?
Oh, when? Look, if you want to know my personal opinion, and this is kind of a controversial opinion, right?
Well, no, the question is not your personal opinion. It's based off of what the Bible says, right?
Hold on. What? Hold on.
Because the question is what does the Bible get wrong? And so the Bible has two answers for when the Exodus happened.
When as you see it, when does it say the Exodus happened?
In 1 Kings chapter 6, it says it happened 480 years prior to the building of Solomon's temple, which is around 970 BCE, which means the Exodus would be right smack in the middle of the 1400s.
Okay. Whose clock are we using? Is my question.
Same clock you and I are using.
The clock that says 6 days is equivalent to billions of years in the universe, depending on your relative position and your relative velocity to the occurrence, right?
No,
talking
the
about, like,
6 days is 6 rotations of the Earth.
But more specifically, when we're talking about, I mean, like the context here is obviously the context of Solomon's temple, right?
Look, I'm not a scholar, and I'm not qualified to debate on that timeline. But what I will say, and I want to say this, and I think this is important, right? I think this is really important. The Pharaoh who was the Pharaoh before the Exodus, I am as convinced as anyone can be, is actually Akhenaten. You ever seen Akhenaten?
That may be, but that unfortunately Akhenaten wouldn't have been in that time period. Akhenaten was
depending on how you're dating,
depending on what happened. The problem is that the Bible says in the end of Genesis and the beginning of Exodus that they built the storehouses of Pithom and Ramses for Ramses, and then they even talk about the city of Ramses that they passed by and whatnot. So according to the biblical narrative, they left in the middle of the 1400s, but also they were there somehow in the 1200s to build the storehouses of Ramses II.
Look, man, I'm not familiar with this timeline, so I can't debate you on it, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, but so you were just asking for an example of things that it gets wrong, and this is just one of them.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I didn't know enough about the subject to even argue. If you want to put out another one, I'll do my best.
Sure. Yeah. So let's do
I'm going to turn off
factual. We could do an easy one, like a factual error, right? So factually speaking, Leviticus gets a couple things wrong. One of them is that it says that rock badgers and rabbits chew cud, and neither of them chew cud.
I don't think that is sufficient evidence to disprove the concept of God.
I didn't say it was.
Okay, but
the claim is that the Bible gets things wrong.
Well, if the Bible gets things wrong, it's because the people who were look, you know, a religious testimony is a divine message, presumably, right? Not, you know, that's the concept that they put forth, right? It's a divine message that is delivered by human intercessors, right?
I don't know why we believe that.
I mean, in Leviticus, this is not delivered by human intercessors. This comes directly from God, right?
Right.
Are you sure? Are you sure that it is God speaking?
These are the laws given by God to the Israelite people.
In fact, the only way that you could ask the question, are you sure that it's God speaking, is if you haven't read the Bible yourself. You haven't read the Bible yourself, have you?
I mean, I don't think I've sat down and meticulously read through every chapter. I've read the Gospels mostly.
But
My favorite
Leviticus
part
is
of
like
the
the
Bible.
third book of the Bible.
Yeah. Chapter
I
11
consider
starts
that
out.
Torah.
Well, it
I
says.
still can't not call the Old Testament Torah.
Well, the Old Testament's called the Tanakh, but in Leviticus
Or
it
you can
says
call
the
it the
Lord
Hebrew Bible.
spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, "Speak to the Israelites." And he gave them the laws regarding the food. So it just says that God gave these laws.
See, in Islam, right, we have a concept called the chain of narration,
Wait,
where I'm a Muslim, yeah.
Boy,
So
that
we
took
have
a
a
turn.
concept.
Every single time, dude. Every single time.
Muslims are
You're
the
so
most
right.
ashamed
Ouch, man.
people of their religion. It's crazy.
What are you talking about? I'm super
Every
proud
time
of
we
being
get a
Muslim.
Muslim
I
up
just don't.
here, they wait like till like 10, 15 minutes in the conversation. Even when we ask them questions at the beginning, trying to figure out what God they worship, what religion they're a part of, they play coy until like, some time later in the conversation. It's so weird.
Well, look, when I introduce myself as a monotheist who believes in the one God, that is by definition what a Muslim is, right?
I'm sure.
So you should
Yeah, except
have
that's just
known.
not what people. That's just not
But I
what people
wouldn't assume
understand
that
the
you
word to
do.
mean.
And I wouldn't assume that you do know what it means to be a Muslim, right?
No, I mean,
So
like, when
I
people
wouldn't necessarily
mean that they're
identify myself as that immediately.
Look,
right?
I mean, it would have just been appreciated if you were honest and said you're a Muslim, because then we could understand that you take the Quran and perhaps other holy texts to be
And the Bible,
coming
Torah.
from the word, in the case of Quran, coming from Gabriel, right? That would have been really great if you had told us it rather than being so evasive.
Well, look, I don't like to if you had asked me if I practiced a religion, right? If you had asked me that way, I would have said, "Oh, I'm a Muslim."
We asked you specifically about your God, and you're purposely vague.
Muslim could answer is
and
the one
again,
God.
you said you didn't say anything about being Muslim, and you can believe in one God without being Muslim. So just believing in one God doesn't mean you're a Muslim.
Fair enough. So, anyways, what I was saying is, God, what was I saying? We have a concept called the chain of narration, right?
Yeah, we know about it.
Which I'm sorry.
We know about it. We don't
right. So, but the viewers might not, right?
They
so the chain of narration is used to identify, is used to validate.
You don't have to
validate accounts of the work of the prophet. That's all. So the issue of who is the author and who is the intercessor and who is the reader, these are all like the fundamental issues at play when you're talking about religious literacy.
I have no idea what you mean by religious literacy. We're pretty familiar with religion.
Being able to properly interpret religious texts.
Yeah, we can typically do that. At least I've got a background in that training, so it's not really usually a problem.
Where's your background from?
My background is from an actual educational institute.
Were you a religious studies? Do you have a religious studies degree? Did you go to like a biblical college? Like, can you like give me something to go on here?
Yeah, I've got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in biblical studies.
Political or religious?
Political. What are you talking about? I said biblical studies.
Biblical. Okay, cool. So you know a lot. You know a lot of details and facts about the Bible, then, presumably.
Sure.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that there's a resource like that.
So let's ask a pointed question then. What would compel somebody to believe in the God of the Quran?
Well, for me, it was the way that the Quran approaches the subject of the resurrection, rebirth, recreation, however you want to describe it, of a human being, right? Also the.
Are we watching 24?
It's super loud back there. Yeah, I can turn them down.
What happened?
It sounded like we were in Nakamoto Tower. Did I get the
Yeah,
reference right?
there's a weird squeaking noise in your background.
Oh no, that's my broken ceiling fan. The clickety 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 clackety. That's
No,
my broken
it
ceiling
sounded
fan.
like
It's
it sounded
100 degrees.
like a timer for something about to explode.
Yeah,
Bit.
yeah. No, look here. Here, look. I'll show you.
I
I'll show
disavow.
you. It's my broken ceiling fan.
It's a very
But I
small
have
ceiling
to use
fan.
it. But I have to use it because it's really hot in here. So, anyways, what I was saying is, what was I saying? Oh shit! I was going to say something.
I was asking what would be a good reason to believe in the God of Islam. A piece of evidence, a good argument, anything.
So the God of Islam is the God of the Bible, is the God of the Torah. It is God. It is the one God. It's the same old God, right? But the Quran,
Well, but that's the claim, right?
Like, yes, that's
the
fundamental concept.
Yeah. But like Jews and Christians disagree, obviously.
Many do. There are many Jews who stop following the prophets after the events in the Old Testament and Torah.
That would be all Jews, actually.
And there are many Christians. There are many Christians who disavow anything that is ascribed to Muhammad, right?
That would be every Christian.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say every Christian, man. I certainly wouldn't. But see, that's such a broad generalization. I not only do I not ascribe to that.
I think if you believe that Muhammad is a prophet from God, I think that kind of like by definition makes you Muslim.
Yeah, that's like the two-part.
That's like the one thing.
Shahada is like you believe in one God and you believe that Allah sent Muhammad,
you could be
right?
Baha'i. You could be Baha'i and still believe that Muhammad is a prophet.
You could be Baha'i.
But
I'm not.
You can't be Christian. I think that Muhammad is a prophet.
I disagree about that completely.
Find me one Christian who believes that Muhammad is a prophet from God.
Vladimir Putin.
You think that Vladimir Putin thinks that Muhammad is a prophet from God? Really?
I think that educated people acknowledged all of the major prophets in history. Educated people.
That's ridiculous. Most people with an education actually are atheists. They don't believe in God. Like that's just statistically true.
Let me. They should if they were smarter.
Right. The people that are educated they're just dumb. They weren't smart enough.
I'm sorry.
They studied all that science and stuff.
If you're educated, you can absolutely acknowledge that some people think that XYZ person. If you're educated, you can absolutely understand that some people think that Muhammad is a prophet, or that some people think that Jesus rose from the dead. But that doesn't mean that you, as an educated person, necessarily believe that that's true.
That's the attribute generally ascribed to him by human history, right? Let's face it.
Oh, also, before we get too far away from this, you were just like totally lying when you said that Vladimir Putin thinks that Muhammad is a prophet from God. I Googled it. There's no mentions of this.
What did you Google it?
Does Putin think Muhammad is a prophet from God?
Why don't you call him on the phone?
Why didn't I call Putin? Do you think he'd really make the time for me? You think?
Yeah,
1-800. You know how some of us happen, right? Why don't you call Putin on the phone then,
Smarties? Yeah. Why? I'm sure he has the time for me right now.
So, do you have a bird, or is that the ceiling?
Anyways,
oops,
that's not my turn.
1 second.
Justin, is that your bird?
Mm-hmm.
So what else? The other thing that attracted me to Islam is the concept of the mysteries of faith and the belief in the unseen, right? And as I said before, if you saw something that you had never seen before and was so foreign to you, or was such a confrontation of either your mortality as an individual or like our mortality as a species, your mind would hide that knowledge from you, because it would essentially disrupt the routine that you've established that makes you feel safe.
Wait, I'm
as
so sorry.
As a living creature, right? So
we keep on speaking in like vagaries. Could we get like a specific example, like a specific piece of evidence?
So let's say, for example, hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, there's you familiar with what a horseshoe comet is?
No.
Horseshoe comet. Horseshoe comet shares essentially an orbit with another stellar body, a planetary body, right?
Okay.
Are you talking
Sounds
about a
good.
Trojan comet?
No, what's a Trojan comet?
It's like the well, I guess it could actually be called Trojan asteroids. They're the asteroids that hang out just in front of and just behind Jupiter.
No, but the concept is similar, right? A horseshoe comet shares the orbit with your planet, for example, right? So if, and because of the glare of the sun, it often makes them hard.
Thing, but continue.
This is a real thing. You can Google that. You can Google
I
horseshoe
did.
comet.
I did. Nothing came up. It said,
Nothing?
"Do you mean cosmic horseshoe?"
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I read that just the other day, man. That's wild.
From where?
So, anyways, the comet asks.
Wait, don't move past that. Wait, from where?
Astrophysicist or an astronomer.
I mean, like,
an
it could just be like a mistaken
call
name.
him up, text him and ask him. I think it's called a horseshoe comet. If it's something else, shit, correct me, man. Look.
Well, yeah, I don't really know. I just don't really know what you're referring to.
So a horseshoe comet is something that shares the orbit with our planet, right? And it doesn't always intersect with our planet, and oftentimes it's just kind of lost in the glare of the sun, very hard to detect. But if one made a close enough pass, right? If one made a close enough pass and did so with some kind of regularity.
Oh, you're talking about a comet with a horseshoe orbit. I've never heard it called a horseshoe comet. Also, they wouldn't be comets if they share a horseshoe, if they're in a horseshoe orbit with Earth. They would just be asteroids.
Okay, so we'll call it an asteroid in a horseshoe orbit with Earth.
Sure.
This is what I'm talking about, right?
Okay, yeah.
And if this thing made during its close approaches, right? If it was visible during the daytime, taking up a large percentage of our sky, and looked like it was a bull, like some kind of magical bull charging us from outer space, right? It would force us to confront our own mortality, not only as individuals, but as a species, for however long that thing was what we were looking at, right? It would.
Wait, I probably should have. There was something inside of me that was tugging me, begging me to, say something and make sure that this was actually going to demonstrate the point. I'm not asking you for like a hypothetical piece of evidence, that might make us like reevaluate our lives or something. I'm asking you for an actual piece of evidence, an actualized piece of evidence that indicates that Islam is true or that God exists.
So, I'm sorry. I thought the question was, give an example of something that is a mystery of faith or is the unseen/unseeable.
I don't think I said any of those words. I think I just asked like, what's some evidence that Islam is true?
So my evidence that Islam is true generally comes from my life experience, right? My life experience and my understanding of Allah, my understanding of God, indicates to me, and look, to the degree that it is, and by whatever mechanisms that it is, this is a product of my own faith. However, this brings us back to the question of what is it that we are trying to identify positively.
Wait, sorry, that was like another vague non-answer.
It's easy to identify.
I just want like an actual piece of evidence, right? Like I can't help but notice that every single time we ask you for evidence, that all we end up getting are like vague non-answers.
Well, see, my evidence may not seem to qualify to you, I guess.
I didn't hear any evidence.
When I say that I have experiences, and I have a look, I'll confess to you guys, I have a disability, right, that involves amnesia, involves trauma, and involves amnesia. So this is kind of an area of expertise for me, traumatic amnesia. So when I tell you about an experience that was for me difficult to recall, difficult to ascertain the validity of, this is one of those sticky areas of discourse where you might not want to discount someone who is speaking about their own experiences and say that their evidence doesn't qualify.
We haven't heard the evidence. Well, I think I understand. I think I can read between the lines of what you're saying. So I guess like here's the problem is that I can't possibly even like update on my priors. Like I can't even take it as like any evidence at all. Not just like a religious experience that you had, but a religious experience that you had that through no fault of your own, you can't remember. Like I obviously can do literally nothing with that.
Yeah, like I said, that evidence does not qualify.
It's not even clear that that would be evidence on your view.
Well, see, and that is really what we're dealing with here. Is we're dealing with people who saw something that they'd never seen before. It was nothing like they'd ever seen before, and they tried to tell people their families, their communities. They tried to pass along these stories to preserve the knowledge in case anyone else saw something like that they'd never seen before.
Those were more vagaries. Get specific. Use like specific people's names. Use the names of specific events. Don't tell me about like some generic outline of generic events. I don't care about that. I want names. Give me names.
Well, human resurrection from the dead.
More vagaries. Who?
Well, reportedly, Jesus was reborn, recreated, reassembled.
Not if you're a Muslim.
According to who? Are you a Muslim?
If you're a Muslim, you don't even think he was crucified.
Don't tell me what it means to be a Muslim.
Okay, well, I guess
I don't think you are.
I could be mistaken, but I thought Muslims don't think that Jesus rose from the dead.
Islam focuses on the resurrection, the recreation, the rebirth through the intercession of intermediaries, man.
I think you might be in the wrong religion.
It insists that we not dwell. It insists that we not dwell upon the violence of the Romans.
In chapter 4 of the Quran, it says that they didn't kill Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus lives. What if it just said Jesus lives? Was it better then?
Well, it said they didn't crucify him, like the Bible says they did.
Was it? Yeah. Look, do you speak Arabic fluently? Do you speak all of the Semitic languages and familiar with all the Semitic cultures and languages?
I can speak Hebrew. I don't know Arabic. However, it's not really in question.
What about Aramaic?
The Arabic, well, the Quran's not in Aramaic. So the English translation.
If you want to address,
so the English translation,
you might want to learn the languages, man.
It's not in Aramaic. It's in Arabic. They're different languages.
Yes, I know that Arabic and Aramaic are different languages. What do you do when you take something from an Aramaic oral tradition and then try to
It's not an Aramaic oral tradition.
Oh, the Christianity is not an Aramaic.
We're talking about the Quran. The Quran is Arabic.
How did we even get to the Quran?
Chapter 4 of the Quran says that Jesus was not
cannot take
crucified.
It out of context. What does it say from the very beginning about
Do you want me to just read it?
Why don't you go back to the beginning of the surah?
I can read it for you.
At least the beginning of the surah. Have the decency to at least go to the beginning of the surah before you start to despair.
It says, actually, I'll just read it for you. I'm not despairing Muhammad at all. I'm telling you that you didn't read the Quran. I'm saying that you didn't read the Quran because the Quran disagrees with you.
No, I just read it correctly, and you're not reading it correctly. That's also
I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. I don't actually think you've read it at all. In fact, that's my assessment. Because this would be kind of important to know, I would imagine. So it says, let me get it on the vertical screen so you can see it over there as well. There we go.
At least we're not going to have the decency to go to the beginning of the surah. You can just shut your whole mouth.
It's 157 verses.
You can just shut your whole ass mouth. Now.
So
yeah, this guy is so funny. Yeah,
I'll read you the.
You're not going to have the decency to go to the beginning of the surah. You can shut your whole ass mouth.
Prior? Yeah. Okay, bud.
Yeah. All right. So it says about the crucifixion. They were condemned They were condemned for breaking their covenant, rejecting Allah's sign, killing the prophets unjustly.
You don't have the decency to at least go to the beginning of the.
All right. If you don't have the decency to let me read your holy book, then you're in the wrong place. Says, our hearts are unreceptive. It is Allah who has sealed their hearts for their disbelief. So they do not believe except for a few, and for their denial and outrageous accusations against Mary and for boasting. And the thing that they boasted was, we killed the Messiah Jesus, son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. But they neither killed nor crucified him. It was only made to appear so. Even those who argue for this crucifixion are in doubt. They have no knowledge whatsoever, only making assumptions. They certainly did not kill him. That's what it says about the crucifixion of Jesus in the Quran. So how about you tell me what it means?
Didn't you know? But Justin, didn't you know at the beginning?
Do you understand the prophets at all? Do you read them at all?
But Justin, didn't you know that at the beginning of the surah it says, "This is what we would say on opposite day"?
Yeah, exactly. Oops, I missed
wanted
that
us
part.
to read the beginning.
Allah says that the following statements are false.
That's wild. Okay,
Like, how
so
is
you're
the
not a
beginning
real
gonna
Muslim.
change
Okay,
that?
it's fine.
I beg you. Look, I beg your pardon. That's so insulting. That's
Then
so
beg.
insulting. I should storm off in
No.
indignation. Storm off
Oh
in indignation at
no.
your ignorance.
Oh
But
no.
I'm trying to be. Look,
Oh no.
you don't even know the photo I'm referencing. You don't even know the photo I'm
I'm
referencing. You dumb
referencing the
kids.
Quran.
The
Your
photo?
your reckless
photo?
ignorance is astonishing to me. And although
the
although
fact
I
that you
could
would say
possibly
something
forgive it,
about
you
the
guys
Quran
gotta
having
grow
not
the
read
fuck
it
up.
seems to be the reckless
You
thing.
guys gotta grow the fuck up, man.
It sounds like you got to read your
Just
book.
stop in here to say hi.
Maybe you should read your book.
I also stopped in here to talk to you about things like how you're getting the answers wrong. Stop doing that.
Well, you didn't give us the right answer once. Maybe you don't have the right answers. Because we were just talking about the crucifixion of Jesus, and you were like flat wrong.
I don't know about you. Probably ought to leave.
No one's keeping you here.
Yeah, so there's a button
not
at
being
the top
forced.
right-hand corner. It's an
Wait,
X. If you press the
before-
X, then
I can't decide. I can't decide if I want to leave. I should stay long. I should stay
Here,
long enough to say.
Tell you what, I'll make the
say
decision for you, and we'll move on. Okay? I know it's a tough decision, but some of us have some decisiveness. Don't worry about it. All right, hey friends, that was a wild one. We wasted 45 minutes on that nonsense. So let's read some
That
super
can't
chats.
be true. That's not true.
It's 12.
That can't be true. We can't have. There's no way. Over the course of 45 minutes, all we got.
He said
is
nothing.
Like the name of his religion.
Yeah.
that's
And
10,
then
15 minutes.
Word salad.
an explanation for why he isn't going to give us evidence, and then like a crash out. Like that can't be true.
Impossible.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But nevertheless, I mean, listen, we got some guests loaded up. We'll get some good conversations going. I'm sure of it. Speaking of good conversations, Gretchen, good to see you. There we go. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Although I got to move that. I apologize, back on the screen a little bit. It's a little bit wide. I didn't set the width of it yet. All right. We'll get that width settled. Gretchen says, for the NYC Travel Fund, have a good stream. Good night. Well, thank you, Gretch. Super appreciate that. Which would be a good time to make sure everyone knows we are going to be having an event in New York, in the Bronx, in October on the 10th. Blitz, Ian, and myself will be debating in like real person. We'll have actual people on a stage coming to debate us, and you guys are all invited. Everyone gets to come, and it should be a blast. Bring well, you can't bring your own drinks, but bring a friend at least and come hang out with us. It should be an interesting time. Hopefully we'll get some good opposition. We'll have to wait and see. You can't really control what kind of opposition you get, but we'll do what we can. And $20 from our friend Jason. Thank you so much, Jason. Question for Justin. Why do I feel dumb listening to this show? Well, because of that last guest. Also, can borrow your street cred occasionally. Listen, I hate to tell you, Jason, and this might come as a shock for some people. I don't have any street cred. I'm basically... What's that?
He hates fun.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even enjoy having fun. So my street cred is like in the tank. It's not good. But nevertheless, if I did have some street cred, Jason, I would let you have some of my street cred. When I find some, I'll let you know, and we'll have a discussion. Thanks for being here, friend. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Justin, I'm gonna try something.
Sure.
I'm gonna try clicking on one.
Oh, sorry.
It worked.
No, well, we both clicked at the same time. Let me read it, and then I'll let you click.
Okay.
Herbie, good to see you. Herbie says, I can't watch this rubbish. I don't blame you. Ian's at the top, Justin's in the middle, and Sir Lord Mr. Dr. Blitz is at the bottom. This will not do. Does not logic. You know what? I actually can, unlike Video Ninja, I can flip the order. I just haven't done it yet. Give me a second now. I'll get that rearranged.
Shame.
But
it's impossible.
Blitz, go ahead and give it a...
All right, let's give it a try. All right, so we have... Oh, I clicked it, but nothing is happening.
Let me see if I set the chat to group mode, because I can disallow people in the group to click it. Give me a second.
Okay.
Just in case you don't want somebody to come and fuck up your system, right? It is
but
set.
how would they get in?
the source is set for group. Well, you can. There's different levels of group participation. Okay, so it is set for group. So like you should be able to click on a chat and it should pop up. I did test this before and it was working.
Sure.
If it's broken now, looks like I'll have to revisit it.
Yep, it's broken now.
All right, we'll take a look. We'll take a look at that. I love it when you get something working and then you go somewhere else and the thing that you were previously on breaks. But it should be an easy fix. We'll figure that one out. Anyways, we do have a $20 super chat from Karen Dave. Thank you so much, friend, for $20 super chat. Good morning, Unapologetic. I'm so glad you're live because you gave me a reason to stop rage watching Blitz's cringe-inducing video about a software engineer who wants to run a statistics lecture with bad math. And boy, that is rough, actually.
Yeah, there's a story here. I had a guy on the other day, and he was like, there is no climate change consensus. I've looked at the meta-analysis. Okay. They only asked 1,000 climate scientists, and only 100 responded. What do you mean 100 people can tell you about the consensus?
Oh, no.
It was very funny.
Yeah. Damn. Well, I wonder if they realize that would be like if all 100 people were not a representative sample, if in fact like the true number is like, like 10% of climate scientists believe this, then that would be just a statistical miracle, a statistical wonder.
In fact, I might even become a Muslim if that were the case.
Yeah, no kidding.
No way. Damn. Okay. Fuck. We have a real Muslim in the chat. That last guy obviously wasn't. And $10 from Rabid Foam. Thank you for the super chat. Love you guys. Ian would love to see you debate Pangburn. Well, that's happening October 10th. All three of us going to Pangburn because he was highly critical of your arguments. Oh, you mean actual Travis was critical of the arguments for morality as laid out in Matt's video. He did a live react the other day. Oh, I didn't know that.
Whoa, I haven't seen that. Yeah, I filmed that video with Matt quite a while ago. But yeah, it just like lays out the basics of like the Gwerth position about what it would mean for morality to be objective in the first place, and then it lays out the argument for why that obtains.
I did not yet get to watch the video you did with Matt, but I'm intrigued just based on the title of it. I thought the title was like really a good hook.
Does Travis have a beard?
I don't know. Actually, that's a question for somebody who is more in the know, I suspect, being that I'm not. But I didn't know he was even making a response video. So this is we're all learning.
Yesterday, it only has 100 or it only has 800 views. So
okay, well, cut by Occam. Thank you for the 666. Ian is on time and no audio issues. Well, it took a minute. Should I be heading to a nuclear shelter? We did have a couple things to work through, given that this is our first run on this new software, but it seems like it's working. We will obviously we'll find a minor bug here and there that we'll have to work out, but overall, pretty pleased so far. And also $20 from Wow or Watt. Hey, thanks for the super chat. Question for all: can a temporal state emerge from a timeless state, and if so, how? I feel like that's a question for Blitz and Ian.
Yes, the answer is yes, but it does so timelessly. So yeah, that's the answer.
I don't know. I think it's not clear to me what change means there.
So this is emergence. This isn't change. If you're using change in a temporal sense, it's just not that.
Well, then yeah.
So the way to think about this is just like, imagine that you had like one loaf of bread. And I love using loaves of bread to talk about this kind of like B theory stuff. You have one loaf of bread that you call like the loaf of bread that has time in it. And then you have like, like the butt of a loaf of bread. So like you cut off, let's say you have half a loaf of bread and that's the slice of time. And then you have another loaf of bread. That's like the back end of a baguette. And the back end of the baguette, that's just space. There's no time there. Now, if you glued the back end of a baguette to like the half of a loaf of sliced bread, well, now you have space, purely spatial, non-temporal, that in some sense gives rise or allows time to emerge from it. Now, this is not a temporal statement. This is not something that happens in time. This is just that there's like a sort of geometric joining where there is a first moment of time and it's connected to, in some way, a timeless state.
Yeah, I think that that's fine. Like, I think that if the claim is something like time is emergent from like more fundamental non-temporal entities.
It's not even that.
What is it?
It's more like, yeah, because that's a separate idea, that you can have like that you can kind of have an illusory time that is emergent, that just appears to be present, even though the fundamental reality is timeless. That's a separate idea, which is also interesting. But what I'm saying here is you genuinely have a truly fundamental time, but it's somehow glued to a timeless state.
Glued by what relation?
Geometric. So there's a geometric continuity that relates the timeless state to the temporal state.
Okay, sure. So you have like the temporal dimension, and then there's like a geometric relation between the temporal dimension and like the...
Yeah, I mean, like literally think of the analogy. You have a slice. So if you have sliced bread, you know, each slice is a moment of time, and then you can have like the back, like basically take two loaves of bread, cut each of them in half, and then stick the two separate loaves together. One of them is a baguette, and the other one's like Wonder Bread. The Wonder Bread is the stuff that has time. The baguette is the stuff that's timeless. But if you now just glue them together, so on one side you have the timeless stuff, and on the other side you have the time-full stuff, well, now you have some sort of connection between the two.
I see, sure. And then, but that isn't really like a causal connection there.
No, it's not a causal connection.
Yeah, okay, sure. I think I'm tracking that just if you like follow along like the time dimension for long enough,
it ends up becoming
to be the time dimension.
Right.
I see. Okay. I don't know. I think I'd probably be interested in like getting a bit clearer on like what the specific relation between those things are, but prima facie, it seems fine.
Nice use of the word prima facie, by the way, for phrase.
Yeah, thanks.
It was great.
I wouldn't even attempt it. Dr. Blitz, you should be able to click on a super chat now. I added authority to your account for that.
I still don't see the chat reply thing under panels,
well,
but I'll keep looking.
One thing at a time.
Take a sec. Oh, to click on chat. Okay, yeah. Yes. Oh, it worked. Okay, I guess we're reading Catholic Thinker because I just clicked a random one. Always good to see you, Catholic Thinker. Long time since I was... Is it popping up?
Almost. I'll pop it up.
Okay. So long time since I was able to listen in from Catholic Thinker. Lots of life stuff. Glad to be able to listen in again. Hope to call in soon. Well, it's always good to see you here, Catholic Thinker. You are the token Catholic that we like. No, I'm kidding. We like all Catholics.
The token Catholic that we like is crazy. Catholics,
but we do like you. Nick Fuentes is a Catholic, if I remember correctly.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is.
So.
Oh,
like all of the people who converted to Catholicism and all of the men who converted to Catholicism in their early 20s or late teens, these are cringe people.
Yeah, or the ortho bros.
Well, they are ortho bros. They just like the aura of the Catholic Church generally.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
The staggering number of ortho bros who have in fact not read the Bible.
Well, they don't have to. They have the patriarchs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the aesthetic, right? You know, it's the vibes. They like the vibes.
Authority that they love. They love being able to listen to old men.
Yeah. All right, Blitz, click another one for me. Another super.
All right. Let me scroll down to from binary ghosts. Oh, I think it worked. It's so odd to me that people try to prove their religion is true. It tells me that they don't actually believe, or at the very least are not getting anything out of it, spiritually speaking. Defending a bet. Well, no, I mean, like, I have to disagree here. I think that if you believe something is true, then why would you not want to convince? Like, look, if you're intellectually honest, then you're interested in knowing what's true. If you think that the person you're talking to is also intellectually honest, then you would assume that they want to know what's true. And if you think that you know what's true is indeed true, then it would make sense in some sort of conversational setting that you might want to try to convince them that it is indeed true because, you know, maybe you want what's best for them and they want to know what's true as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that you could totally both want to. Well, and in fact, I think that under like a lot of like religious frameworks, it would be imperative for you to try to prove your religion. Too. Like, it would be so important. Like if Catholicism was true, for example, or if like one of the religions that believes in like eternal conscious torment, like I think most like Islamic sects do as well. Presumably it would be imperative for you to try to demonstrate your religion, to try to get as many people as you can to not go to hell.
I mean, that was my understanding under Christianity. The goal is to save every soul that you can, and the harvest was plentiful. No time to waste. Anyways, friends, we got some people waiting to get in. We'll cover more super chats between guests. Salvianor, as far as I can tell, was in the queue next, and then our friend Matt that came back for some reason. So this should be interesting.
Is it the Matt?
It's the Matt.
My God.
Sure
The
is.
Matt Theorem, formerly known as Matt Davids, formerly known as Guitar.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Oh boy. Welcome in, Salvianor. Are you at least 18 and do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Did I say your name right?
Yeah, Salvianor, that's fine.
Okay, cool. And do you believe in God?
Yeah, I believe in God.
Sure. Which one?
And which one?
I don't I just believe in a higher power.
Okay.
So
Okay.
That's basically it. But I just wanted to start off because this is my thing with like atheists and stuff.
Is
Well,
like,
actually,
you
you can
complain?
question before you start. You don't like go to church or anything, do you?
No.
Okay. You
So-
seem actually like honest in this position.
But no,
so
I go
I'm
to
fine
a
not pressing it.
Catholic school. I go to a Catholic school, but I'm not Catholic. But
Okay.
like,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
My question was like, where do you guys get your sense of morality from, right? Because I mean, like, as far as I know, how we act as humans right now in society, how we don't go around killing people, doing other like, like whatever. I'm just forgetting it all right now because I'm kind of nervous, but just doing like
You're good.
foul actions, right? We get that from going way back when the Bible was a thing. When
So
other
I just
religious
get mine
texts
from
were a
vibes.
thing.
I don't know about you, Justin and Ian.
So
Mostly vibes.
there's an important question that we got to distinguish here. Is what you're asking like like our moral intuitions, like what shapes our moral intuitions? Well, if that's the question, then this is like your moral intuitions for sure get shaped by like a ton of things. They get shaped by like evolutionary factors, like societal factors, your other beliefs. But I think that that's a distinct question from whether or not your moral intuitions are true or whether your moral beliefs are true. I think that that's like a separate issue. But yeah, I think that all these things, like if what you're asking for is just like a causal question about like what causes us to have the moral intuitions that we do, it's going to be a mix of, I don't know, like evolutionary factors and then societal factors.
Yeah, but when it comes to like evolutionary factors, I don't feel like if we were like whatever, you believe in the past that we were mammals and stuff.
We are mammals. We're
We
still
still
mammals.
are.
Yeah, no, we are mammals, but I'm talking about like before like de-evolved or like monkeys and stuff, right? I don't feel like we could have evolved.
I mean, technically, we are monkeys.
Monkeys
I don't think I'm a monkey
better.
personally, bro.
Well, a monkey is just a very large class of animals, and humans happen to fall into that very large class.
Nah, I think we're a different species of monkeys, but I was
A
thinking
monkey
that
isn't a species.
So-
It's a
do you
very
mean?
very large clade.
Okay, man, my bad, but I feel like the sense of morality you guys are talking about, you have to be born with it, right? It's like, are you born with morality? Yes or no?
You're born with probably like some moral intuition, but your moral intuition
Where
is
does that come from?
definitely absolutely shaped by the society that you're in. So for example, if you go back and read the dialogues of Plato or the works of Aristotle, you're going to get passioned defenses of slavery from both of them. Both of them thought that that was the good thing to do because their society told them pretty straight up, this is totally acceptable. There are some people that just deserve to be enslaved. So I think that if what you're asking is like the causal question about what causes us to intuit specific things, there are certain things that we're going to intuit to be wrong just on the basis of evolution, like they're disadvantageous, or society, that society tells you that this is the way the world is, and then you intuit that it's fine.
Okay, yeah, okay, I understand that, but let's just go all the way back, right? All the way back as a species. How do we know not to just go around pooping on the floor, killing other of our species without feeling an ounce of emotion? Like, how would we evolve to that way without not being born with a sense of morality? And if we're born with a sense of morality, we could have never been monkey or apes. Evolution doesn't
what?
create
What are you
morality,
talking
right?
Just to
about?
be clear, do you
That
think
doesn't check it out at all.
do you think that babies, if they weren't taught to use a toilet, wouldn't just like poop on the floor?
But no, I'm saying babies. if they were grown up, they would know not to like go around killing people, right? Because they're born with a sense of morality.
Well, no, I
So
mean
Am I
even
right?
adult humans don't do that. Adult humans kill
No,
people.
but not if I like took care of a baby, made the baby grow up, the baby would know not to just kill me, right? Because
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
sure.
know,
That's a familial
yeah,
relation, and that's
okay,
adequately
but then that
explained by
baby, that
evolution.
baby, that
yeah.
baby would
You're,
know not to just go around killing other people.
No,
Do
well,
no,
for
no,
example, like
that's
I'm
not
not trying to
true.
say,
like a regular adult humans do that like all the time.
Yeah, seriously. Also,
but
if you want like interesting evidence about moral intuitions, specifically related to things like I don't know, like shitting or whatever, you can see behaviors where other apes, like chimpanzees, for example, will be very thorough and like cleaning their asses, and they'll like wipe shit off their hands before they touch food. Um, you know, they seem to have this developed intuition that this is like something to be avoided.
yeah, because that's like dirty, but no, okay, so you get your so you get your morality from evolution. You think we just evolved into morality? Then
I think
I
To
I've
have
a
a
answered this
certain
question.
question a
extent.
couple of times and you just misrepresented the position. So,
Uh-huh.
no, I
Wait,
think that our
okay.
moral intuitions, I don't think that the
Uh-huh.
moral facts are necessarily tracked by your moral intuitions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you get your moral intuitions based off of evolutionary history and based off of society.
So you get it from So you don't think the Bible or any religious texts have now currently shaped the form of how morality and laws and thinking the way you think? You don't think
Yeah,
any
probably to some
religious
extent.
scriptures
But
from
to be
that,
clear,
huh?
those religious scriptures were influenced by earlier cultural traditions.
Yeah, and most of the things that I value don't come from, like, biblical, I don't know, they don't come from, like biblical ethics, they come from secular ethics.
But
The
I'm saying
things that I really
before,
value are things that come from the Enlightenment, values like freedom, autonomy, like, you're not going to find anything about basically either of those things in, like, religious works.
but I would have to disagree with that because when
Where
I feel like
where in, like, a religious book can I find freedom of religion? Like, an endorsement of freedom of religion, where can I find that?
uh, I wouldn't know, but
Nowhere. The answer is nowhere. That can't be accounted for. If you think freedom of religion is
yeah,
good, you
I
can't
don't think.
account for that with like,
But
I don't know,
why
religious
would a
ethics.
religion, if the religion is true, why would the religion want freedom of a religion? Wouldn't the religion not
Exactly.
want you to
Mhm,
So our
convert
morals don't
people to your
necessarily come
religion?
from the religion.
mhm.
No, but I feel like
You're
the
proving my
way
point.
laws are, the shape we think, like how we think, what we know is good and bad, it comes from religious texts, like mostly
Do you think
in
freedom of religion
general.
is good?
Freedom of religion. No, that now that's like that's subject. That's like a perspective and subjective thing. If
I'm
I'm
asking
looking,
you.
me personally,
Yeah.
uh,
There's one right answer considering what you told us earlier, unless you lied.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
no, because rather than what you
You
guys are
don't think freedom
doing,
of religion's good?
no,
Which
I
religion
think
should you be forced to practice?
you shouldn't be forced to practice any religion. But
Oh, so you think that freedom of
if
religion
you
is
were
good?
a religion, if you were a religion,
We're
you would
asking
want people to
you.
convert to that religion. Me
We
personally,
are
yeah, freedom of
asking
religion is
you.
great. Yeah, yeah, okay, okay, freedom of religion, I'm all for it. I'm all for it,
Okay, so
100%.
where did you get that idea from? That it's good to have freedom of religion?
Because if you want to, let's say whenever a priest preaches or anything like that, they preach to you, but they want you to be saved, right? So you have to think from their
I'm
perspective, right?
asking
Oh,
from
they
your
want.
perspective. Where did
Yeah,
you get
I
this
just
idea?
answered. Yeah, I
Where did
just
you get
answered
the
it,
idea that
and
freedom
I
of
just
religion is
answered
good?
that. Where did I? If priests want to save you, they want to be your savior. They want to bring you to Christianity, right? Right?
What does
So
this
you
have
get
to
it
do with
from
your
priests?
perspective?
Wait, so to be clear, you're saying that the place where
Or
you get the value of
pastors?
freedom of religion from is from priests?
No, the value of freedom of religion, I
Then
get it
you're
for
just not
myself
answering
because
the question. Where does
what
the
do you?
value of freedom of religion derive
Oh,
from?
oh,
Where does
where
that
do I
come
get that
from?
from? Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh
I
my
understood
god.
that
I
wrong.
definitely
Okay,
asked that like 3 times.
no, wait, I was thinking the wrong thing, wrong thing. Where do I
Granted.
get the freedom? I feel like everybody should have their own perspective and learn on their own.
But where does that value come
So
from?
Where'd you
What do you
get
mean
it?
the value?
It traces back to a very specific time in the development of ethics,
Mm-hmm.
the Enlightenment. All of this like liberal, like Enlightenment values, people like Kant, people like Locke,
Liberal.
like they emphasize these liberal values about freedom and autonomy. The thing that you value can't be traced back to any holy book. It can only be traced back to secular ethics.
Okay, but that's one thing, freedom of religion, right? But religious scriptures also indirectly talk about freedom of religion because religious books know
Bet.
that people won't be a
Where?
part of their religion.
Wait, where? Can I get the
So,
verse?
but okay, no. Let's say, for example, if you're a religion, right? And if you know to bring people to your religion and to save people, like for example, Christianity, you know to save people, then you know there will be a freedom of religion because people will choose other religions. So it's
So you're
indirectly saying
okay,
that
yeah.
there is a freedom of religion.
You're conflating between descriptive claims and normative claims. We're talking about
But
ethics. That's strictly normative about what should be the case, what should happen, what rights people have, and that ought not be interfered with, as opposed to descriptive claims about what people will do. Should
yeah, but
do
your
is different
claim
from
was
will do. So you're claiming that the Bible speaks of how people will do this, but the Bible says that it's bad. They're saying that you shouldn't do that. So we're asking, you think that people should be allowed to practice the religion that they want to practice and that other people should not interfere with their practicing of that religion? Where do you
but
get this value from within the Bible, the Quran? Where does that come from?
but your claim was that no holy scriptures talk about the freedom of religion. And I just told you how they indirectly speak about it.
Where?
Can we agree with that?
Where does
Okay,
a scripture speak about like the normative claim that people ought be allowed to do this? That's what we're speaking
it's not
of.
about being allowed to, but it indirectly speaks
That's
about people
what freedom
do.
of religion is.
Yeah,
But no,
it's
It's
saying
being
that
allowed
people
to. So you
will.
should be allowed to.
Yeah,
But you have to
it's saying
think of
that
it
you
from
should be
if
allowed to
as
do this and that other people should not interfere with your right to do this. It's a
but no,
normative
I'm
claim
saying
about should and shouldn't. So where
it's
in a religious text can I find it talking about how you should be allowed to practice whatever religion you want to?
that no, that is no religious text talks about that, but I'm saying
Exactly.
religious
Okay.
text does talk about how there is a freedom or like how there's choices to religion, not a exact freedom, but it like indirectly says, oh, people will choose other religions, right?
We're
That's what
Yeah,
speaking
your
and then
about
claim
they
like
was,
say
where
that
it
that's
doesn't speak
bad
about it.
usually.
yeah, we're speaking about moral rights. Like where does the value that people should be allowed to practice the religion they want derive from? Where do we get that from?
But that's the difference, the moral rights, right? Because if you're in a religion,
Oh
no,
no. That's
if you
exactly
believe in a
that's literally a
religion,
moral right. It's a negative right claim. It's saying that others ought not interfere with this.
but if you believe in a religion and you want someone else to be saved, you're
Yeah,
obviously going to think they're doing something morally incorrect, right?
right.
You're
And
just thinking
Yes.
that's why freedom of religion is incompatible with I should say like conservative versions or literalist versions or faithful
yeah.
traditional versions of religion, which is why you're not going to find it in any holy book. What you're going to find
Yeah.
you're going to find some Christians in the United States, perhaps a plurality of Christians in the United States, think that freedom of religion is good because of the Enlightenment, not because of the Bible.
Yeah, you go back to the
Okay.
year
Yeah, I get what you're
1300,
saying.
nobody thinks freedom of religion is good.
Right.
Exactly,
Yeah, in
exactly.
fact, like
But if we go
famously there
back
were
to
like pogroms and
1300s,
crusades.
but if we go before religious texts
Actually,
were
interestingly enough,
established,
depending on where you were, there was freedom of religion in different parts of the world. Certainly not in Europe in the 1300s.
Yeah.
but where would freedom of religion before the 1300s even exist? Because I don't
Like the
think there was a
Mongols.
freedom of
The
religion.
Mongols were very tolerant of people's I mean, the Mongols are horrific in their own right, obviously, no defense of the Mongols, but one thing that you can't indict them of is like preventing people from practicing their religions.
And in some parts and in some time periods in various Muslim empires, it was also permitted to be of a different religious affiliation, even if that came with perhaps additional taxes or whatever. It was still allowed.
I'm yeah, I get what you're saying, but so you get my whole argument was that where do you get your sense of morality from? Because I feel like if you don't believe in
You already answered
one of the
this.
religions that were established, no, that I'm just saying what my argument was.
Mhm.
Like established before, if you don't believe in one of the religions, then you wouldn't have a proper sense of morality without indirectly establishing what the scripture before said about morality, right? And you're saying that it's like societal and evolutionary thing, and societal wouldn't be correct because the religious text is what scripted in society.
You think
But
that society exist? You think that religious texts existed before society existed?
no, but I'm saying it's what shapes our society today.
Literally, society was shaped by the societies before that. That's how societies have always functioned. And so the society that formed the religious texts, this kind of Greco-Roman / Judean society that formed, the Christian Bible, that was formed by earlier influences from the East, from like the Mesopotamian area, from the Judean earlier traditions, from the Greeks, from the Romans. They were influenced by the earlier societies.
The earlier societies, but in those societies, were there good moral standards? No, there wasn't.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what
I mean,
religion teaches us,
give me one moral standard that you can find explicitly in the Bible, and I'm sure Justin will tell you exactly where you can find that earlier in some other part of the world
Yep.
that influenced the society.
let's not even in the Bible, a
Yeah,
moral standard that
yeah, some moral standard
doesn't.
that you think is where is you think is the origin of that standard.
I know in the Quran when it talks about Aisha, they talk about
Oh.
her. No, how she hit the what is it, pubescent age. And I before I don't think they believed in like the whatever a female or male has to hit puberty before
What
being
are you
married
talking about?
Literally,
or
the ancient Israelites
something.
believed this. This is why the
Yeah,
age of adulthood
Yeah,
was like puberty.
13.
but
Yeah.
at the time of the ancient Israelites,
That was long
there
before
wasn't the
Muhammad.
Torah or nothing.
Are you confused?
Was there the Torah at the time of the ancient Israelites?
I
Yeah,
mean, if you
they weren't
think of
Israelites before they had the like
Yeah.
traditionally
Exactly.
they
So
weren't Israelites before they had the
I'm
Torah. That
saying.
was the whole thing.
That's what I'm
if
saying.
you if you think the book
The
is
scriptures.
true, then yeah, they had it. They got
They
the
had the
Torah like
Torah
right
Yeah,
after they
exactly.
by the
left.
And
time. Yeah,
the scriptures are what shape our morality today. And if the scriptures are what shape our morality today,
We've already
then that means
demonstrated
there
that
has
that's
to be a
not
higher
true.
power that's shaping us.
Wait, sorry. Okay. I enjoy having premarital sex with my girlfriend. Do you think that I should have the right to do that? Like the moral right to do that? Do you think I do something morally wrong by doing that?
No, but I feel like it would be better
Where do
to
we
first.
find this moral right in scriptures? Can you find me the scripture that says that you should have the right to engage in premarital sex?
No, but
Where
would
does
it
that
be
right where does that value come from then?
would it be
I'll give you a
ethical?
hint. It comes
Listen,
from the exact same
yeah,
place as the other freedom came from earlier. It comes from the Enlightenment that placed emphasis and value on things like freedom and autonomy.
but is it ethical? Is it ethical to involve in adultery before marriage?
I don't think
Is
so.
that really ethical?
we're not
No, I
talking
don't
about
think it's
adultery.
ethical to do that. No.
We're not talking about adultery.
Or no, what premarital sex? Okay, do you think it's ethical for premarital sex?
Yeah, obviously, if it's like
Okay,
consensual,
okay,
barring
but
like extreme circumstances, yeah, it's totally fine. What would be
but
unethical about it? Like in virtue
okay,
of
we have
what
to
would it
look.
be wrong?
But no, what does that lead to? What does that lead to?
Good
Of
A good
you
times,
time?
Yeah,
doing that?
lots of fun.
Good.
You know, it leads
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
making sure
emotional
that you're sexually
connections.
compatible with the person before you marry them so that you don't have to
Oh, for
find
sure.
out on your wedding night that you guys are like literally mechanically incompatible.
Which
But no,
actually
I don't.
happens.
I
That's a
think
real
that
thing that
just
happens.
leads. If you have one person and you marry that one person, you lose your everything to that one person. Your relationship with that person is going to be much stronger, and you guys are going to last way
I don't
longer.
think so.
And no, but
Evidence.
there is studies.
Evidence.
There's
What's the
That's
studies
evidence?
about
actually statistically not the case.
no. There's statistically there is studies about how arranged marriages last longer than actual
But hold on.
regular
Arranged
marriages.
marriages, you're not accounting for the confounding variable that in a culture that requires or allows arranged marriages, it is also expected that those marriages are not dissolved. Right? You have to compare
Di-
like with like.
I mean, like, if
Their
the
culture,
if
obviously, if you live in a very traditional society, so much so, or traditional culture, so much so that arranged marriages are still a thing, then of course, divorces are going to be frowned upon, much more so than they are frowned upon in more liberal cultures. So
I've
that's not really comparable.
wait, so your point, but no, my whole point is that like whatever premarital w- sex or whatever is it's not good before marriage because it leads to like it leads to it just doesn't like it leads it's not a good time
Pleasure.
because when you no when you meet that person you're gonna think about the other person in the past. You're gonna think about other things in the
Wait a minute,
past, how this
hold
person's
on.
doing this different.
Salvianor,
What are you talking about?
question, and not
Yep.
to get too personal, but what if
Uh-huh.
somebody meets somebody, they
Uh-huh.
have plenty of premarital sex, and then they get married, and it
Yeah.
was the first time for both of them?
Yep.
Is that
Then
wrong?
no, then no, if it's that one
But it's
person,
premarital.
no, but I uh if
Yeah.
it's the one person and think in mind when you think of premarital sex, you think, oh, let me do this and then let me get to the next
Premarital
person. Let me
sex
get to
just
the
means
next
sex
thing.
before marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
sex
thinking
before
of
marriage. But
promiscuous
if you're doing
sex.
But if you're doing sex before marriage and you have the like and you know you're gonna marry, like you know this
What if you
that's the
don't know?
person and you're gonna marry her,
What if you don't
then
know?
if you don't know, then it's wrong because then
What
you
makes
have other
Wait, so how do you
outlooks to
determine if
think.
it's wrong if you don't know whether or not you're gonna marry? Look, it seems like in order to figure out if it's wrong, you would have to go into the future. Like, can you
No,
know
you
if
would
it's
have to
wrong in the
talk to
moment?
the person. You would have to
Wait,
talk
hold
to
on.
the
Okay, so
person.
suppose that you're like, you're like 20 years old and you're like a loser, so you are still, you still have not had sex with anybody. Then you meet
Mhm.
somebody, and then they're the same way, and then you have sex with them, and it didn't plan on becoming a big long thing. You were just like, first boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But then it just happens to be that a few years later you get married. How could you have known when you were 20 years old that it was wrong, or that it wasn't wrong?
But m- the thing is, after you do that, whatever, you have that intercourse or whatever, right? And then you guys go your separate ways. Then you
No,
guys
no,
get
you
to
don't go your
go to
separate
different
ways.
outlooks,
You just stay
huh?
boyfriend and girlfriend, but you didn't have any plans for
Yeah, if
marriage or
you stay
anything.
boyfriend and girlfriend, you're basically married at that point because you're each
Okay.
other's
Wait,
partner.
so you're
Have you,
married to your boyfriend, or you're married to your boyfriend or girlfriend when,
Well,
if you stay
like,
with them
but
forever, you're basically you're like
no,
in
I'm not saying,
conclusion,
like, there was no guarantee that you would stay together forever. You just
then
happened to
that's
stay together.
then that's wrong if there's no guarantee. But
How
why?
do
if
you
there's no
Why is that
guarantee, then
wrong?
why if there's no guarantee, then why
am
even have sex with that
Ian,
person
am
to
I being
begin with?
stupid? Like, is this like obviously unintuitive that somehow
Well,
you have
yeah,
to be
it's
able
like
to predict the
obviously
future?
false,
Like, somehow you have
right?
to be able to
But
predict the
I'm
future to
saying
know if something's bad or
if
good.
Um,
yeah, but no, I think
I
that's a
mean,
bad thing
there's like
anyways,
arguments,
if
like
you're
for
not
example,
certain.
well, I won't go on the autista ramble, but yeah, I think in this specific circumstance, like this is obviously silly. I don't know. I mean, you could think of it as like a dilemma. You could be engaging in like the sex before marriage, and then either you guys will be sexually compatible or you won't. If you discover that you are compatible, then that means that this would be a good pairing and that you guys should get married if everything else pairs well across like all the different domains in your life.
No,
Alternatively,
and
if you're
that's
not compatible, then you shouldn't get married
no,
because you're not
okay,
compatible, right? Like
no,
this is so
this
simple.
no, it should be the other way around. You should get to know the person. You should get to know their family. Each family get everybody gets to know each other, right? And then
Salvianor,
when you know
look,
you're
it's not just about knowing each
compatible,
other. What if you have like an enormous hog and like her bits are just not big enough?
you're gonna have to work around that, I guess. But it's the person because you know her. She had like personalities match, family matches, everything matches.
Work
You do that
around that?
before marriage.
What do you mean? Like,
Yeah,
if
you
your
could work
pieces don't fit
if it's the
together,
right
bro,
person.
you can't force two puzzle pieces to fit if they don't match.
But if it's the right person, would it matter?
Yeah.
It
Yes.
turns out
No,
like
because
sexual
Obvious,
satisfaction is
of
an important part of
course.
but if
relationships.
she matches all criteria, it wouldn't matter at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's like
Of
okay, let's
course.
say
Of course it would.
okay, I have a question.
Obviously. There
Are you in a
you're going to
relationship?
be a match with so many people.
And I don't
Why would you sacrifice this one like crucial element of most relationships?
because I
You
feel like
just find somebody else that you match with along all the other dimensions and then also match with along this dimension, of course.
but I don't think I still like if everything matches and you genuinely like
That's
this
one of the
person.
things that you check to see if it matches.
But you don't know it's going to match. That's the whole point. And
I mean, I guess you
Saviano,
could like
listen,
exchange details
Mm.
right
You're
beforehand, like
Yeah,
over
exchange
could.
text.
measurements.
and maybe well, it's not always that simple. I mean, yet that there's some questions you have to ask. But let me help you. I used to work with a guy when I was about your age, and I was a young Christian, and I thought, it'd be nice to marry someone who had like a low body count, something you worry about when you're younger. And
Cringe.
my coworker was like 50 something, and he's like, "That's stupid." He thought, "I don't want to marry a virgin or someone with a low body count. They have no idea what they're doing." At the time, I thought, well, that's kind of silly. Now I'm over 40 now. That was the right advice. That was the right advice. You don't marry. There's no real benefit to marrying someone who has a low body count. There's no benefit to waiting. In fact, in my experience, it only improves things if you actually know that you're compatible with your partner, and maybe you actually know that they're capable or that you're capable. You don't know all that. You can get married to someone who might have what would we call it, like pain when they do the deed. You can get married to
But
someone who doesn't have the sensation, like they don't actually feel pleasure when they do it, and so they're not going to want to do it with you. There's so many variables that go into this part of the relationship. It's not something you just want to guess.
But the statistics of females with higher body counts
Oh my
getting
god.
married are
Bro said
brutal.
females.
Yeah, because it's like the
You
studies
can have
about
premarital
premarital
females in
sex without
general.
having a high body count.
Is bro with trans ally?
After a female's first body, the rate
Oh my
of
god, I'm cringing
you
so
can
hard. I'm gonna
Oh
die. I'm gonna die.
no.
I'm gonna
the
curl up
rate
in
of a successful marriage goes down by 90%. Go search that up.
Yo,
After the girl's
source?
first
Can I get the
body.
source on
Yeah,
that one?
what's the
Jeez.
source
That's a
on that
crazy
one?
claim.
Okay, no, I literally I heard this.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Oh,
worry
You
about
heard
sure.
it from
He
like
heard it. But what's
Myron
the name of the
Gaines
study? Can I get the name of the
or
study?
like Andrew Wilson,
Just
probably.
okay, just go ask ChatGPT or Gemini. I'm telling you, this is true study. After
Okay.
the first
Yeah. Wait.
body,
I'm gonna wait.
okay,
Do not move
yes,
off of this. I'm
yeah.
gonna type in.
Okay,
Tell me
yeah,
word
no,
for word what to Google. We're gonna find the study together.
okay.
So, I mean, to be sure, like this is such a weird statistic, though, like because the driving factor, right, typically behind the length of a marriage is a lot less to do with whether or not you are a virgin and a lot more to do with your social background. I know
I
lots
feel
of
like it's
people that are completely unhappy in their marriage. They met young, they were Christians, they were both virgins, and they hate being married to each other, but they won't get a divorce because they think it's wrong according to their religion, so they just put up with each other.
Would you
The
call that
fact
a
that
successful marriage,
I
Salviano?
wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
if they, I mean, like if that's the person, you would just work it out. Am I right?
No.
No, they're just miserable for the rest of their lives.
But how would you be
And like,
miserable?
what if you want? Oh, sorry, gosh, I'm still on like the mechanical incompatibilities. But like, what if you want
Yeah,
kids?
please.
And
Yeah.
what if you want kids with this person and you guys literally can't have sex because
Okay, yeah. No,
just
that's
the
the thing.
mechanisms don't fit together?
That's the
Like, what
thing.
then? Are you supposed to like bust out like the turkey baster?
No, that's the thing. In marriage, if the female is not satisfied with the male, she's allowed to divorce. And
Wait,
if
sorry.
the male, and
What
according
what
to,
religion do you get that value from? That women should be allowed to
I
divorce their
swear
husbands if they're
that's a
not
religious
satisfied?
script. That's a
Not in
religious
the
script.
Bible, but you're not a Christian,
Also, I still
right?
want the source for
That's a
the
religion.
women with high body
I'm
counts.
going
are
off.
90% have,
Like I'm going
I want
off
to know the source of
of
this
like
still.
majority of religions, like most religions.
Most religions don't allow divorce,
Yeah.
except in like very
No.
extenuating circumstances, like
I
maybe
have
right
I have
after marriage or
things.
something.
No, I have Muslim friends, and I literally asked them the same question. The female is allowed to get divorced if the male doesn't satisfy her.
Well, in Islam,
I'm
women
pretty
can get
sure.
divorced, but not in other religions. Like
Yeah.
in Judaism, the Old Testament has no provisions for divorce. Same thing with Christianity. Although you could make an argument from Paul's message in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 that maybe women can, but like even in the Hebrew Bible, Deuteronomy
But wait a
24
minute, what
allows a
happens?
man
So,
to get a
so
divorce.
suppose a woman gets divorced after their
Mhm.
after their wedding night. Well, now she has a non-zero body count.
Well, that's the thing. Listen, if you're like, well, it's okay because you can get a divorce. Well, it sounds like you're just adding more steps to what we're talking about. You can you can figure out if you're compatible without having to sign legal paperwork.
Get
But
married really quick. Just like
it's
sign the
not
waiver
as
really quick before you have
serious.
sex, and then get divorced afterwards. No problem.
But it's not as serious if as if you're married, because then you actually like you genuinely have a reason to get divorced. If you're a boyfriend girlfriend, you just have an argument, right? And you just have a huge argument and you just fight over it and boom, you just break up.
That's
It's
not how
just
that
that fast. But
works.
if you're married, no, you're more likely
Actually,
to just break
statistically,
up
statistically
rather
speaking,
than
people
divorce.
in marriages break up just as much as people not in marriages.
Nah, because I
The
know
thing,
people with like
the marriage isn't the thing that's keeping
But
the
I still want to
relationship
know the source for
together.
this claim that
after
yeah.
like search up how
What should I
much
search up?
does okay, word for word, how much percent of a successful marriage does it drop after a female has her first body?
Well, what about men? After men have their first
It's
body.
it's different for men.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Oh,
All
yeah.
right, hold
Okay,
on. This
just
is, by the way, this is
checking.
gonna like
But no, that supports
pollute
what I'm
my
gonna say next. That's gonna
what's it
support
called?
what I say next.
Hold on. I'm just gonna make sure that this is like not. This is on temporary chat. I don't need to pollute that kind of crap.
Yeah. Yo, why am I getting called incel?
I mean,
If the shoe fits.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't have my first body, but does that really matter?
Oh my god.
What?
Oh, you're a child.
yeah.
I'm 18. I'm 18.
Yeah, you're a
I'm
child.
not a child.
You
Okay,
are a
I'm 8.
child.
Okay, ask me any question at 18-year-old now.
What was one major theme in To Kill a Mockingbird?
Huh?
What about
What
that was
was
confusing?
What's one
name
major thing that kills a mockingbird?
a
What's
major
one major
theme?
theme in the book To Kill a Mockingbird?
I'm not in America, so I don't know
Okay,
if you
so
guys read that in America.
ChatGPT says, and I'm just reading.
Yeah.
I'll read word for word what ChatGPT says, and I
Okay.
put in your phrase exactly, which is not even correct
Okay.
English. But there isn't a reliable, successful marriage drops by X% after her first body number. The closest research says having 1 to 8 premarital sexual partners is associated with about 50% higher odds of divorce compared with having none, but that is not the same as a
Exactly.
50% drop in marriage success. It is an odds increase, and it does not prove that sex itself caused the divorce risk. For example, if
Yeah,
a group's divorce risk were 10%, a 50% increase in odds would make it about 14%. That's it's not doing its math right. It should be 15%. So marriage success would go from about 90 to 86%, a drop of about 4 percentage points, not 50%. Also, an important study found that premarital sex with the person she eventually marries did not increase divorce risk for men. The higher risk was tied more to multiple premarital partners, not simply the first. So the honest answer is, you cannot say marriage success drops a fixed percent after a woman's first sexual partner. Some data show a correlation with higher divorce risk, but it depends heavily on context, partner history, values, age of marriage, relationship quality, and whether that first partner is the eventual spouse.
Okay, so see,
So
that's
where was this
basically what
90%
I mean.
number?
Forget the 90%, it's 50%, whatever. But
So we just made it up.
odds
Okay.
of no, I guess I got it wrong. Maybe it's because I remember after the second body goes up like another percent amount, third body goes up another percent amount. Just ask it after each body. That's one body. It goes up by 50%.
That was 1 to 8.
That was one body, right?
It was 1 to 8.
1 to 8. But no, after its first body, the risk, reread it. After the first body, the risk goes up by 50%.
All right, I have to ask it again because I already closed out of the window because it disgusted me.
And yo, some guy said you are an incel. You don't even know what an incel is. That's involuntary celibate. I don't think I'm involuntary. I just think I'm preserving.
Wait, are you
myself.
telling me that if that like the cutest girl at your school propositioned you would say no?
Yeah, I would say no.
I guess based for holding to your principles.
That is not even me holding to my principles. That's just me.
Is it just because you're like an embarrassed shy boy, or?
So
No,
as fun as this is for me, I personally I think we might want to get back to the topic at hand.
Yeah, probably.
The audience is starting to get a little restless with this conversation. So let's ask another time. So you've been up here for 33 minutes. You're trying to run the moral argument. We're pretty familiar with the moral argument. Let me your moral argument is essentially, well, you can't have morals without the Bible, first of all, or without religious texts. That's obviously untrue. Ian has a great argument for objective morality without these books, but also if you think that morality comes from these books, then you have to bite a gigantic bullet because there's lots of morals in these books that you're not going to like slavery, stoning gay people, stoning women that aren't virgins, lighting girls on fire that are daughters of priests because they had premarital sex. These are morals that I'm sure you wouldn't like, but they do exist in the holy books as well in the Quran. You can strike your wife, you can beat your wife. So there's uh, um, when you're trying to say like, well, we have morals because we have holy books. You have two problems. One, you're picking and choosing which morals you want out of those holy books, and number two, those holy books all disagree with each other. You have no method of determining like which holy book we should be turning to and which ones we shouldn't be turning to because
Yeah.
I could turn to the ancient books from Mesopotamia, or even ancient Egypt, and they've got legal codes as well that are religious in nature. I don't know why I would
Yeah.
pick the Bible and the Quran. I could easily just pick something from the Book of the Dead or from the ancient Babylonian epics. Like why are we worried about these modern religious books if we're just saying we need morals from somewhere?
Oh, by the way, sorry, I hate to do this. Just to backtrack, the source for the claim comes from the Institute for Family Studies.
Oh boy.
Is that bad?
Yeah,
The
Well,
it's
Institute of
definitely
Family.
a
That sounds
biased
pretty
source.
reliable.
It's a biased source.
How do you know? How do you know if it's biased or not?
I'm familiar with the Institute for Family Studies.
But you can't just call. Okay, do you have like some sort of like proof to back that up that it's biased from personal
Yeah,
experience or something?
if we go to the About Us section under the
Mm-hmm.
Institute for Family Studies, and they
Yep.
write our mission, the mission of the Institute for Family Studies is to strengthen marriage and family life and advance the welfare of children through research and public engagement. Known for its objective and
Exactly.
incisive studies, that blah, 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 blah. So they go on and they talk about what else they do. But their goal is to strengthen marriages. So they are obviously going to be coming at this from a biased perspective.
To train, but I don't think so because if they're just doing polls about
They're
people
not just
that
doing
after,
polls. The ChatGPT source was from an article written on the Institute for Family Study. It wasn't a
yeah,
poll.
but they're gonna get their information from somewhere. Let's say if a couple divorces, right? Might have questions
You're right. They will
for
get their
the
information from
wife or
somewhere,
the
and where they
husband.
choose to pull their information from is going to be biased. That's the point.
But no, it can't really be biased if
It
the
can
female
be if you
does say,
choose to
"Oh,
include
I've,"
certain information and exclude other information. That's called being biased.
but I don't think it's excluding any
You
information. I
haven't
think
even read the
what the
article. I
question we
did.
asked, but no, the question we asked and the answer we got
Yeah, and
was all
ChatGPT
that we
cited
asked.
that article. It cited that article in the Institute for Family Studies. And I read the article, and the article pulls from a source that's over 30 years old, and it doesn't give anything that's more up to date.
So
I
even
wonder why they're pulling from this very old source rather than something more modern.
so, do you think ChatGPT is being biased for no reason?
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But why would it be being biased? Why would it be biased if I
Because
didn't
look,
ask the
so
question in
so
a biased manner?
given the language of the question that you asked me, it tries to please. And the
But
language of
no,
the question that
no,
you asked
I
me
made sure.
implied, yeah, obviously.
No, the
ChatGPT
way I
tries to
asked
make
the
you happy,
question
and you
was,
used words like female, first body, uh, and the grammar was obviously
but
incorrect. So like
ChatGPT said
obviously,
not
ChatGPT
non-biasly at the end. He says, or I'm gonna call him
no,
a he,
it
but
it doesn't.
he
Also,
says
that's
not.
weird. No,
Wait,
it
what am I
doesn't say
supposed to catch?
non-biasly.
Is he he or she?
ChatGPT is not a person. Anyway, this
Well,
suffice it to say, like
uh huh.
this is not particularly reliable source. I'm sure we could go find more
But
reliable sources if
it's
we
a
were genuinely
source at the
interested,
end.
but you're not interested, right?
What do you mean interested in what?
You're not interested in what's actually true. You're interested in what confirms your
No,
biases.
I'm an intellectual. You know, you don't have to use some big terms
You're
right now.
an
I'm an
intellectual.
intellectually honest guy. You know,
Okay, there you go.
I'm
Mm.
intellectually honest. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to get schooled as much
Okay.
as the next person.
Does
feel
anyone
like I'm
have
getting
anything else?
schooled right now.
Otherwise, maybe we should move on to somebody who's more intellectually capable, like Matthew
Yeah,
Davis.
I don't think
Ah,
I'm
yes.
capable enough to be on this panel, but you know, I tried my best. You know, maybe I have
Yeah.
to go study a bit and
Granted.
come back. Maybe I'll find the truth. Maybe I'll agree with you guys, but probably not. But I'll just have to go my own ways. It was nice talking to you, Ian.
You can go
Dr.
your
Hey, it was
Blitz.
great to talk to you. Thanks so
own
much for coming
way.
on up.
Nice talking to you guys, bro. Peace.
Right. Cheers.
Later.
Salvanor out.
Okay.
Also, don't call women females. It's cringe.
Yeah, that's. I get it. When you're young, you
hate-
might not realize a good verbiage to use, but that's not the one you want.
Well, it's just indicative that he's like hanging out in red pill spaces.
Probably. Yeah, that probably is the case. Nevertheless, hey friends, we got guests waiting to get in. We're going to grab a couple super chats and then we'll get our next guest. I think we've got 5 people waiting to get in. I see Matthew, Mr. Red, and Veritas. If you're not on TikTok, you can use the link on the screen, tinyurl.com/UA chats, and we'll get you into the guest queue. From Kurt Price, thank you for the super chat, friend. This question for Ian: if determinism is real, how do you justify punishment if agents can't choose to act differently?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so
Ian.
there's like one of two things that you might want to say to this. Maybe you'd say that I think like a view that you could reasonably take in response to this, or like in response to like compatibilism or determinism even, is that when you give punishments, it's for like rehabilitative purposes. Although I personally don't find those arguments very convincing. I think that you'd probably want to cash out. I haven't read super hard into I haven't read super deep into the literature on retributive punishment. I've only like kind of scratched the surface of it, although I'm convinced that it is definitely the most intuitive one in terms of like models of punishment. Like there are just going to be cases where you think that people deserve punishment kind of for its own sake, even if there's like no good consequence that comes out of it. So
Ian over here just punishing people even though it's not their fault.
well, I mean,
Cringe.
it is their fault though, right? Like they reacted to the moral reasons that were in front of them in a way that didn't respond to those reasons.
Yeah, and it
And
wasn't
for
their
that
fault that they
reason,
responded that way.
their agency is not well integrated, and that's what you're punishing them for, is for the lack of integration within their agency.
Yeah, but why do they deserve suffering if it wasn't their
Yeah,
if
that's
it
the
wasn't their
question that I
cause
haven't read into,
caused
but
it?
I think that would be like more of like the meta ethical justification for I don't know, giving like punishments at all. So I have no idea how like
Clearly
people might answer those questions.
moid who
Oh, of course, yeah.
prefers retributive justice rather than rehabilitative justice.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, I think there are cases that it's kind of hard to account for. Like, if somebody does like a rape, but they're never going to do it again, and they'll like regularly come in and take like fake photos of them in jail looking sad. So you can like post this on the internet and be like, oh, this will happen to you. So you get like the same sort of like consequences that you want. It still seems like there's like some sort of like punishment that you would want to give this person, even though there is no good consequence that comes out of it. And even though there's no need for rehabilitation.
So you'd rather just, I don't know, if somebody just through no fault of their own as a result of societal upbringing, somebody steals a candy bar, you would just want to chop off their hands.
basically. And that's the minimum, it only scales upward from there.
All right. Fantastic.
Checks out.
Sounds fantastic. Hunter Girl, good to see you. And thank you for, let me play on again. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It's amazing how many Christians have never considered how much morals are generated by a desire for self-preservation. Like, don't hit me, I won't hit you. Even cats teach their kittens not to bite. Love you all. Rock hard for Doug. Well, thank you, Hunter Girl. And that's true. This is my explanation typically for morals as well. I feel like most of our morals do come out of like self-preservation and the fact that we have to live with each other. And like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, if we're going to be together, here's some ground rules. And that's about it, right? Binary Ghost. Oh, sorry. Was you?
I was going to say, I think that that's probably true for our moral intuitions. I think that our moral intuitions are extremely unreliable at tracking things like moral reasons. I think that our moral intuitions are like way corrupted by things like, I don't know. I mean, we find things that are disgusting to be immoral, regardless of if there's like actually like some sort of morally salient feature there. And we definitely are biased in favor of ourselves morally. So yeah, I think our moral intuitions are very corruptible in that sense.
Agreed. And from Herman, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I'm in
You
an
didn't
arranged
read the
marriage.
Binary Ghosts one, by the way.
Oh, I had it up and we were still talking. I apologize. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I've done that like once every live stream. The way Christianity was meant to spread is through a demonstration of benefits of faith and dedication. Through force or through this materialistic argument creates bad foundations these converts never fully believe. Yeah, I mean,
Well, who knows how it was meant to spread? We don't
yeah,
have we don't really have the texts from Jesus telling people how it was meant to spread, right?
yeah, and that's always a difficult part. Is like we have limited access to the past, and so when we're talking about events that happened in the past, a lot of it's going to end up being speculation. I am the big cheese. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat.
You
Friend
missed
says,
Herman Preet again.
God damn it! Did I do it?
Yeah, and you're gonna miss I Am the Big Cheese next.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Now I'm one
we're gonna have like an
behind.
infinite regress of super chats that
Yeah,
Justin keeps missing.
it's gonna keep on going. Herman, I'm sorry, friend. Thank you for the $20 super chat. We read that. I'm in an arranged marriage. Blitz hit right on the head. I
We
literally
didn't read
have
this.
someone. I started it and someone interrupted me.
Yeah,
not on purpose. Not on purpose.
I interrupted you because you clicked on the earlier one and didn't read it. So I interrupted you so you would read the earlier one.
Right, yeah. I'm in an arranged marriage. Blitz hit right on the head. I literally have a family member who cheated on his wife, bought an apartment in business for his mistress. Oh gosh. And a week later, him and his wife are back together. Yeah. But it's also
Yeah, that
true
checks out.
in some, I don't want to name countries, in some countries in east of us, like it's perfectly normal to stay married and then also visit, say, sex workers. Like, is considered the norm, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
So
here,
what I
they divorce
understand is
you.
that there is a cultural allowance for infidelity with sex workers in some parts of the world. For men specifically, men are allowed to do this culturally for some reason, and women, of course, are not. Which
Yeah.
who am I to who am I to judge them? But also that seems sus to me. So
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Like this is something I didn't really understand when I was like younger. But I feel like I would hear like a lot of news stories about like rich people from like other countries where it would like talk in detail about like their mistress. Like the person that they're cheating on their wife with is just like it's just like a well-known fact. Like that always baffled me, I guess.
Yep.
And for the second time, I am the big cheese. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Classical theism and Christian morals are by origin Neoplatonic and other Hellenistic philosophies. Two, there is a lack of positive evidence that Christian Rome was more moral or ethical post conversion. I mean, they were
Pretty
doing
sure
all
they
kinds
weren't.
of horrific things pretty much right away, right? So I don't have a
Yeah.
great reason to believe that they were. Yeah. But yeah, we'll grab some more super chats after our next guest, friends. We've got, as far as I recall, his was next in line, and then Matthew, and then Veritas. And we'll try to get to as many as we can. Oh, I clicked on his. There we go. His is connecting. Welcome in, his. Are you at least 18? And do you believe in God?
Good topics, gentlemen. Yes, I'm 28. I'm a follower of Christ for the past 5 years.
Cool.
Born
Cool.
again.
What do you
Why?
think is there you go, yeah.
Why am I born again?
Yeah, why are you a follower of
Well,
Christ?
after
And the better question is like, look, okay, you might have your own personal reasons, fine. Why should we be?
It's I mean, let me start with the first question, because that's a loaded question and it's going to take at least like 2 hours to answer fully if I really took the time. So, my personal reason is because I practice the dark magic, the dark arts. No, I don't come from a religious household. Now, I have a few Roman Catholic family members on my mother's side, but they're just as blind as the non-believers within my family. So
Are you telling me
I'm the
you're a
black sheep.
wizard?
What I'm hearing.
I used to be a Satanist, and I was into shamanism and New Age.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but you weren't actually like casting spells that like
Oh, I
disarmed
was hurting
people
people.
or cleaned your
You
glasses.
could take, yeah, because we would operate through Legion.
I don't know what that means.
That's the army of demons that Jesus
Yeah, this
cast
is
out
a
into
whole
the
different
pigs.
topic, but I'd rather, stay on the course of the
Yeah,
debate
yeah,
because
that's
the
what
broad
happened.
path is a different
Yeah,
topic.
So why should we
But
think that the Christian tradition is true?
yeah,
that's a great question, and I want to answer with a question because
Oh.
sure.
it'll
I would
mesh
like
with
to
it.
evade the question. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If I
sure,
were
go
to
for it,
say that
Merlin.
you don't
Yeah.
exist,
Sorry?
right? If I were to say you don't exist,
Mm-hmm.
would you disagree with me, and why?
So that's a great question, and I would love to answer it with a question. How do you think that answers my question?
Because when you answer with, you're obviously going to disagree with me because you're going to say, people have witnessed you, your birth has been documented, we're having a real-time conversation. And my response would be, how is that any different with Christ? Because he was documented, there's witnesses, and there's historicity and archaeology to these things.
And that's what
To what
convinced
things?
you
There's
from being a
more
Satanist? That's what
manuscripts
convinced
on
you?
Christ than any other historical figure.
That's
Wait,
certainly
do you
not
think that's
true.
true?
It is over 25,000
25,000 what?
manuscripts
When were they made? Do you know when they were made?
over the past, what we're looking at, Torah to the New
Uh,
Testament.
The
It's all a
vast majority
fulfillment.
of them were
It's over the
copied
past
in
6,000 years,
the
5,000
medieval
years.
period. No, definitely not 5,000.
So again, right? Like if you look at all of our U.S.
So
presidents,
would you like me
there's more
to
documentation on
just
Christ
show
than our presidents
you?
combined.
Well, that's not true at all.
It is true.
Well, that's actually not even
Ask
remotely true.
ChatGPT how many
Well,
manuscripts on
ChatGPT
Christ
Wait a
there are.
minute.
is
Since
going
you
to
want
agree with
ask
me.
your
Do you happen
God.
So the
you
number of
happen to know
copies of
when,
something is Blitz. Can I?
Ask your
Yeah.
God about
Yeah,
my
go
God.
ahead. Go ahead.
So the number of copies of something has nothing to do with the amount of documentation. Like there's
That's
tons of
exactly what a
copies
manuscript
of
is,
Harry
bud.
Potter. No, that's copy. So
A
Harry Potter
manuscript is
has
a
a lot of
copy.
copies, but that doesn't mean that there's millions of different
Yeah,
Harry Potter
manuscript
accounts.
is
It
a
just means
copy.
that there are copies.
So
So
where did
I
these
grant
copies come from?
from the medieval period mostly. In fact, I'll show you the
That's not what I'm asking.
demographic. I'll show
There
you
must be original
the
text for copies to be
the
existent, right?
spread of give me a second.
Do
Here
your
we go.
ears
This
work?
is the
Should I ask Ian?
distribution.
Hey, Ian.
This is the
How,
distribution of
hey, Ian.
New
Is there a reason
Testament.
why you're running?
Yeah, this is the
If I have a
distribution.
copy of my
This is
diploma,
the
right?
distribution of New Testament manuscripts on the screen. And what you'll see, I can blow it up if you need to. What you'll see is most of the manuscripts are actually just from the medieval period. And so while it's cool that, hey, they made a bunch of copies of these manuscripts, it's meaningless to me that they copied them. I'm much more interested in, one, are they true?
Where
Two,
is this graph coming from?
from the data below it in the spreadsheet.
Yeah, whose spreadsheet is this?
This is my spreadsheet that I took from
Your
Daniel.
spreadsheet.
My spreadsheet that I used
Because
Daniel
how many
Wallace.
cross references are there within all of Scripture?
1,000.
This guy's having like a meltdown.
Why am I being
he's
muted?
struggling.
He's doing the
Are we
whole
getting
bit.
emotional?
I'm muting
You
you
think that
because
we're the one? I'm like we're getting emotional.
I'm trying to answer your question and you won't let me, so I just have to mute you
Go ahead.
now. So this comes from Daniel Wallace. This data came from his website. Daniel Wallace is a Christian New Testament scholar who does a lot of work with the Greek manuscripts. This is not data that I designed. This is data from biblical scholars that I just happened to collect into a spreadsheet, which they happily provided for free.
So how is there not over 25,000 manuscripts?
I didn't say that there weren't over 25,000. And
You
also,
did.
of the New Testament, there's about 5,800, and most of them are from the medieval period.
What is that disproving, though?
It doesn't disprove anything. What I'm saying is it's
Exactly.
irrelevant that there's lots
It is
of
irrelevant,
copies.
so why are
The
you
number
showing
of
it?
copies
Maybe I can
has
explain this
nothing
because
to do
clearly
Yeah,
with
explain
the
it, please,
amount of
because it's not
actual
disproving
evidence.
anything.
So
Yeah, okay,
Alexander has hundreds of accounts that are all different from different sources, whereas Jesus has a couple accounts, maybe 6 accounts, and they were just copied a lot. Having lots of sources is different than having lots of copies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so if I
There you go.
obtained a high school diploma, right, and I make copies of that diploma, I need an original diploma in order to make copies,
Yeah.
right?
Look,
Yeah.
nobody is saying
No.
So where do
nobody's saying
these
that there's
You
not
actually
some
copies
don't.
and
sort of
You don't.
manuscripts come from?
You don't actually need an original to make a copy. So you
Well,
can just
you need either
forge
an
it.
original or a copy of an
So
original,
in order
right?
to use a
You
printer
you
or
can
a
literally just
scanner, I
you
don't
can literally
need
just
to use a
forge
piece
it.
of paper in order to
You
print.
Well,
You
yeah,
can
but
forge
I
it.
think the point is that it's well, okay, that's true.
You
It can
can,
be forged, but the
bro.
point,
He's being intellectually
his
dishonest, dude.
No, I'm being
nobody,
100%
You're being
honest.
disingenuous.
his nobody here is saying that there's not some original source text from which these other ones were copied. Clearly, there would have been a first time that this source text was put together. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that source text. So like if you go look at the Gospel of Matthew as it is, as we recognize it today, there will be a first time that Gospel of Matthew was written down. The question is just, it's irrelevant how many copies of it there are. Relevant is
No.
how many original source texts there are.
And some is a heavy word because it's not some. And secondly, it's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant
It's not
to you.
some, so it's none.
25,000 is not some.
25,000
It doesn't
of
matter
when
how
you
many
what?
look
copies
at
there
Why
are
do
of
we
an
the
original
care?
source
Synoptic
text.
Gospels,
But
when
why
you
do we
look at
care
the
about
New
copies?
Testament letters,
He's
we
never
have
gonna
the
answer.
exact dating.
Well,
We
He
have
doesn't
the
understand.
dates.
I think
No, you
the
don't.
I think that
dates.
he actually has like a fantastic. I think he
No,
gave
you
a
don't.
fantastic example
Are you
earlier
able to
related to
debate,
the
Ian, or
college
just
degree and
cry?
making copies of your
You
diploma.
have not
That
added
if
one
you were to
edifying
go
thing.
out and make
Rebuttal
6
me. Bring
copies
your
of your one
rebuttal.
diploma, that wouldn't give you
Bring your
6
rebuttal.
diplomas. You would still only have
Prove to
one
me how we
diploma.
don't
You
have
wouldn't
the
have the
exact dates
authority.
and the
Whoa, let's just
timelines
calm
and the
down there.
history of
Just
You would
chill
have
out.
6
You need to get
degrees.
upset. You would have
Dang,
1
dude,
degree
700 people
still
in here and he's
and
crashing out like
6
this.
copies. Holy shit, he's trying to project it onto me.
Prove
Yeah, it's
to
pretty
me
wild.
that the
Sigmund
history of
Freud
the
would write like
church
an
did
entire
not
case study
happen.
about this guy.
Prove to me the history of the church within the first century did not happen. I'll wait.
Why would we want to do that? So
Let's look
we're
at Rome and
so what we're
before Rome.
what we're talking about
Because
is the
Constantine was a fake
Bible
Christian.
and not the church. We don't really care about what the church says. So let me give you an example
You
of
don't
why
care.
the
That's
Bible
what
is
we're here to
nonsense.
talk about, man.
So do you know, according to the Bible, about when Jesus was born?
Yeah.
When? About when?
On what day was he born? Justin, I have a
He
point
was
for this.
born anywhere from 4 BC to 1 AD.
Okay, now
His
tell me,
mission
do you know when Harry?
started around 30 AD and concluded
Yeah,
on
that's cool.
33 AD.
That's cool. Do you know when Harry S. Truman was born?
That doesn't matter.
It does, because you said that we have
Let's
more
stay with the
documentation on
topic.
Jesus than we do on any of the presidents.
Yeah,
But Harry S.
we
Truman was
see
born
that
on May 8th,
Joseph, right?
1884.
David made a
Mm.
census for
So how can you
Israel
tell me?
Interesting.
to keep
How can you
track
tell me?
of the
Sorry, I have to mute you.
individuals.
He's having his like
Yeah,
soy
hold on.
meltdown. He's
Yeah,
like
So
he's
how can you
embroiled
tell
in
me
Answering
that?
your
soy
question,
rage.
Blitz.
how can
He's
you
also
tell me that
confusing his
somehow
talking points. He
we
just
have
said
better
David made a
information?
census.
Now
How
you
can you
guys
tell
are
me that we have
talking
more
over each
information,
other.
that we have better documentation on Jesus when we don't even know what year he was born in? But we know exactly
So,
when all the presidents were born.
like you wanted to mute before, right? You know, theologically, that David created a census for Israel to keep track
I
of
wouldn't want to
people.
engage with
So
Blitz's
what did
point
Joseph
either.
do
course not.
once
I'm
Jesus
sorry.
was born, according
Are
to
you
Luke and
confused?
Matthew?
Because David didn't
Can
give the
anybody
census.
answer my question and not interrupt?
Yeah, I'm answering
You
your
don't
question. You're in.
practice what you preach.
I'm answering
Now
your
he's
question. You're interrupting me, child.
Yeah,
So
don't
again,
interrupt me, he says after subsequently interrupting like all of us multiple
Yeah.
times.
I know,
So
lucky.
the census wasn't set up by David. That's going to be in 1 Samuel. I'm sorry, 2 Samuel is also going to be in Chronicles. It doesn't show up in
So he
Luke
cites
because
it.
the
It's
census
not
in
David.
Luke, the census in Luke is done by Quirinius, and that's in Luke chapter 2. And the problem that you have is the census by Quirinius was about 10 BCE. I'm sorry, 10 CE. So it's I'm sorry, 6
You're
CE.
wrong.
It's 10 years after the birth of Jesus, according to the book of Matthew. It says, when the angels had left.
You're wrong.
Why does it say 15? I need 1
It doesn't
through
even
5,
say 10
not
years.
1, 5. I'll show it to you since
Do
you
not
haven't read it. We're pretty used to this. So it says, when Herod died, an angel of the Lord suddenly appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, get up and take his child and mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who were seeking the child's life are dead. Then Joseph got up and took the child and his mother and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was ruling in Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. And after being warned in a dream, they went to the district of Galilee. Okay, so you would understand Herod then is where you get your 4
Keep
BC.
reading.
I'm going to. You understand that Herod, the death of Herod, is where you get the 4
Keep
BCE.
reading.
I'm trying to get you there. Just be patient, child. So the 4 BCE
reading.
number is because Herod died in 4 BCE. So if Jesus was born prior to the death of Herod, that means he must have been born prior to 4 BCE, right?
Both Herods were in reign during Christ's ministry.
This is
and
Herod the
life.
Great. This is Herod the Great because
Right.
his son is
Who
named
is the son?
Archelaus. Archelaus. Okay, so
Right.
that
So
means
what is
Herod
this
the
contradicting?
that means Herod the Great.
Pay
There's
attention.
two individuals being spoken of in Luke and
It-
Matthew.
I'm
What is
not
this
Pay
in- I'm not-
attention. It will
I'm
become
not in-
clear in a minute.
I'm not in Luke yet.
Do you
We're in
know how
Matthew.
the hierarchy
I
in
do.
Rome?
Just pay attention.
You have
So,
leaders of
He's
regions.
muting himself now. I'm not even muting him. He's literally
me, I'm
just
muting him.
smacking. Okay.
You have
I'm
leaders.
just doing. I know that it's hard to pay attention while also muting,
know
so
it's
I'm just
hard.
handling it for you.
I know
I
it is.
appreciate that. So Archelaus is the child of Herod the Great. So Herod the Great died in 4 BCE, and then his son Archelaus took over for him, which is why they left Egypt, according to Matthew. Do we follow?
Herod didn't die 4 BC because
Herod the Great.
sent who to unalive
Her-
Jesus when he was
Herod-
born?
Herod the Great.
Remember that? When
Herod the
Jesus was
Great.
born, Herod sent out every
Herod-
soldier to unalive the firstborn
Herod-
male
Herod the Great.
younger than 3.
Herod the
Right,
Great.
there's 2 people being spoken of, Herod the Great and his son Archelaus.
Which
Thank
and
you.
Archelaus was
Not
ruling
disproving
when?
anything.
You're not listening.
2 for 2
Archelaus.
now. You're not disproving anything.
When did Archelaus
live?
rule?
Or rule, yeah.
You're reading it.
When? Okay, good.
The
It's on the
question
screen.
is, when did he die?
No, we're not.
It's not
We're not
relevant.
asking when
That's not your
Archelaus.
question. When did
we're not
Archelaus
asking.
die?
We're not asking
When
about
did Herod
Archelaus'
actually
death. We're
die?
talking about Herod the Great's
You're
death.
2 for 2, bro. You're a distorter in
So
your life.
Herod
I am
Archelaus
2 for 2.
started
You have a lying
ruling
spirit
in
in you.
4 BC.
The crash out's wild.
Lying spirit.
I'm literally reading the Bible to you.
And all Ian can do is bark. He doesn't even
Uh,
bite.
He won't even read his own book. Look, it says when Herod died, his son Archelaus took over. Which Herod is that?
Yeah. Which one? First or second?
The first Herod died. His son was Archelaus. So who is the Herod that died?
First or second Herod, buddy. Because
It's
there's
Which
the
two.
ones?
first one. It's the father of Archelaus.
How many Herods were in reign?
Multiple, not at the same time.
Are you
Who
sure?
was the father of Herod
Yes.
Archelaus?
You guys are very scared, I can tell.
We're asking
Bro,
you
answer
to
the
pay attention
question.
to your own book.
He either doesn't understand or he's
I know which
avoiding the
Herod
question because
died.
he's
I'm
afraid.
asking
And I
you.
don't know which
Oh,
one's worse for
no.
him.
That's
Okay,
so
so
sad.
I'm asking
The
to see if you
father-
know.
The father of Archelaus is called Herod the Great. Do you see on the screen? It says he ruled from
Right.
37 BC until his death in 4 BC. That's what I told
Right.
you.
Thank you
Can
for showing
can,
me you know.
Can you track now?
I'm happy you are.
Okay, so
if
the
Jesus
reason
was afraid
Because
of
if you're
Herod
trying to
the
teach me
Great,
scripture, I got to see
or
if
if Jesus'
you know
if
your
Jesus'
stuff.
family was afraid of Herod the Great striking down Jesus, then Jesus must have been born before Herod the Great died,
Right.
right? So Jesus must have
Okay.
been born before 4 BC.
Jesus was born before BC?
According to
Before-
I
Matthew.
said anywhere from
4
4
BC.
BC to 1 AD. What is this
No,
disproving?
he must have been born before 4 BC.
What is that disproving, though?
We're-
Wait, sorry. If you're
We'll
born
get there.
before 4 BC, can you be born between 4 BC and 1 AD?
It literally
That's
says
a yes or no
4
question, by the way. I don't know if you
BC to
tracked
1
that.
AD.
Is the answer yes or no?
Joseph went to the city.
He's not physically capable of answering any
census
question. He
and
thinks that if he
signed
answers the
Jesus
question,
into
that he's
it.
going to get spawn
That's the
killed. And I mean,
argument.
the worst part
He's
is,
already
is
been
like, he's
spawn
kind of
killed.
right about that,
Yeah,
right? Like
it's
he
pretty bad.
understands that he fucked up. He understands that he blunders, which is why he can't answer this basic question. The answer's obvious, right? The question is, if you were born
Bro,
before
just
4
chill.
BC, can you be born between 4 BC and 1 AD? The answer's obvious. A child could figure
Obviously
this out.
not. They say it right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
He was born
So that's
before
what it
There you
disproves.
go. You got it then. Cool. All right, are you ready to move on?
What is this disproving?
It
I'm
just
about-
disproved that you think that Jesus was born
Herod's
between
death
4
dictates
BC
the
and 1
existence of
AD.
Jesus?
Like you just
Well,
conceded that.
It
How
did
does that
do
make
that.
sense?
It did
How
do
does Herod's
that.
death dictate his existence?
We're not
He was
saying
born
that it
before
does.
Especially if
before
his
Herod died.
son.
We're saying that
Especially
it
if his son
dictates.
took reign.
We're saying that it dictates the
And
date
also
of his
charge
birth,
those
not
under him to arrest.
his. I
to
need you to stop
crucify.
crashing out and pay attention. The
Likewise-
question is not whether or not Jesus existed. The question is when was he born, right? If he was born
That's not-
prior to the death of
That's not the
Herod,
argument.
yes, it is. If he was born prior to the death of Herod, that means he had to have been born prior to 4 BCE. He could not have been born after that, because that means that he was born twice. He was born in 4 BCE, and then he was born again after 4 BCE. Do you understand that
This is going in circles, bro.
if the deadline is 4 BCE, you can't be also born in 1?
It's not going in circles. We're just trying to drag you in a straight line, and you keep turning your wheels.
In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered, right? This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria.
It. And when did that happen?
All went to their towns to be registered.
Yeah, when did it happen?
Joseph also went to the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. Let's read the rest of the chapter like you said you were.
The question is, I didn't say I was reading the whole chapter. The question
read
is
the full chapter.
When was
Show
the census
screen,
of
big boy?
When was
it's like the Muslim fellow who wanted us to read the entire goddamn surah.
How is this disproving anything?
Well, if you'd actually, if you'd listen to my question, you'd understand. The question is, when was the census of Quirinius? Because it says that they had to go register prior to Jesus' birth because of the census of Quirinius.
Means?
So I do.
What is prior mean?
So the question is, when was
Jesus born?
When was
prior
the census
or
of Quirinius?
After?
After they traveled.
Will you document your child to a census before they're born? No,
I didn't say before,
yet.
dummy. I said after. If you were listening, you would have heard it. So again,
even
when
if he died
was
or not, they still have to,
buddy? Just pay attention. Census. When was the census?
Anywhere from 4 BC to 1
No, it wasn't. It was in 6
This is
CE.
prior.
It was in 6
So
CE.
I'm going to read the full chapter since
it was in 6 CE. It was 10 years after the death of Herod, because what happened was Archelaus was ruling in place of his father Herod. Herod died. Archelaus took over. After a number of years, Archelaus was deposed by Rome, and then that province, northern Syria, was given to Quirinius, and Archelaus was out of the picture. So what this means is Archelaus was already gone when Jesus was born in Luke. However, in Matthew, he was born. It does. Archelaus was already deposed.
Where does it say Archelaus is gone?
Archelaus, we know from history, like Josephus was, and Roman history, he was deposed before Quirinius was
and
made.
How would Josephus know about Archelaus?
Governor,
if Josephus is hundreds of years after.
He wasn't
Josephus
hundreds
was
of
like
years
50
after.
years after.
Yeah, not hundreds. Yeah,
he was alive during this time period. He was just young. So the reality is, this is in 6 CE. All of history points towards this fact. Not just Josephus. The Roman histories do too. It wasn't until Archelaus was deposed. Even if you don't have the exact date, we know for a fact that it was not until Archelaus was deposed that Quirinius became governor, which means it's quite a few years after the Matthean story. So tell me what the issue is.
The issue is there's still a church and there's a Roman imperium that you're going to have to...
It's like, whatever you do, don't address it. Don't address it.
Can I please address what I want to say without you
laughing?
Can
you
Jesus take the wheel?
Yeah, quickly his pivot to grandstanding. Pivot to grandstanding. It's your only out. Go.
Yeah, the fool only laughs and rages when an argument happens, right? Proverbs.
So laughing is not rages, and that's not what Proverbs said.
Yeah, it takes 3 of you. It's kind of sad.
It actually only took one.
You requested to join.
Right. So let me
speak. It takes 3 of you to beat the shit out of me. He says the shit beaten out of him.
His girlfriend like this too. So anyway.
Why is women beating even on his mind?
Your confidence has clearly gotten like crushed.
There's an issue with this. Multiple issues.
Tell us the issue.
Because there's still history, right, that you have to personally attack and try to disprove.
Like what?
Paul's establishment of the Gentile churches in the regions we can still visit today.
Why do we need to disprove that?
Hold on. Archaeological evidences that show the scriptures are true and happened.
Like what?
You're going to have to look at to Roman history.
Are you going to point to anything concrete or no?
300 years.
You're just going to pontificate.
The first 3 centuries.
Vagaries.
Right?
Wait,
yeah.
can I get
You're
a
also going to
name?
have
Like,
to
what's
look
the
at the
archaeological evidence
that stemmed before this.
What's the archaeological
right?
evidence?
More soy rage
Because
and
what you're
vagaries.
doing is not
Oh, for
disproving
sure.
anything, my friend.
What's the
You
archaeological
aren't
Because if
even
evidence?
giving
scripture, if that
evidence.
scripture
You
is
didn't even
false, then
track
we
the
would have
argument that Justin
no.
gave.
Yeah, what's
If
the
that
archaeological
scripture's
evidence?
false,
We're just
if
waiting.
that scripture's false, right? We would have no historicity. We would have
Yeah,
no
we
evidence.
would.
You can't.
So if
Hey,
the scripture's not true,
guys, one
then
sec,
why
guys,
do
one sec.
97% of
I'm the
atheistic
nice
scholars
one.
affirm
So-
the crucifixion
So
happened?
I'm the nice one of this group, so I'm just gonna ask a really
Because he was
straightforward
None of
killed.
you answer questions, so I refuse to
I
answer any
we
of
answered
yours.
every question you've asked. You don't listen to the answer.
I'm not
Look,
answering a
his,
single
his, I'm trying
question
to
until
be
you
like,
respond to
I'm trying to
mine.
like
I've
meet you on
given you
common
the
ground here.
respect
I
to
just want to make
answer
sure we're not
yours.
talking past
You
each
have
other.
not
okay?
given
Act
us
your
any
ages.
respect.
Where I will drop.
His.
Act
Oh
your age or I'll
no!
drop.
Oh no! Don't drop!
It's
Guys,
Oh
not
my
this
worth
is
it.
gonna
gosh!
run.
Guys,
This
stop
is
being
gonna
so mean to him.
run.
I'm trying to be nice to him.
Okay. Yeah,
Stop
let's
being
go
so
for
mean
it.
to him. So I'm trying to like reach across the divide to make sure that we're not talking past each other. So could you summarize what you think Justin's argument was, just so that we know that we weren't miscommunicating?
I would like for you guys to respond to my rebuttals
Oh,
instead
he
of
will
bringing
never.
in
He will
another
never.
argument. Why
What?
do you think he won't ever answer?
What was your rebuttal? I gave you the
He
answer.
will never what? Why does?
What
why
was
do you
your
think
What
that?
was your rebuttal?
His rebuttal is that
noticing the immature
there is
character
archaeological
once.
evidence and there is historicity. You know,
fool of
no
companions suffers
elaboration.
harm.
Look, I was trying to be super charitable and just give you the opportunity to like explain what you think Justin was saying, just in case we were miscommunicating, just in case that we were talking past each other, or there's too much commotion and that. So
I don't
we
know
can
what
clarify so that we
Justin's
can come to
saying.
common ground.
Because he
I
wasn't
don't know what
listening.
Justin's saying when I'm trying to explain my point.
Well,
That's
no,
what
the
I'm
point.
saying.
I mean, like that whole time when Justin was reading Matthew and then Luke, Justin was trying to make a point, but it seemed like you were
Yeah, and I
interrupting and
brought
not
the
actually paying
rebuttals,
attention to
and
what he
you're
was saying.
refusing to direct it. So
Direct what?
What?
My own
my
argument.
rebuttals, and I'm not repeating myself because I already
I
repeated myself twice.
I
How
gave
could
you
you
the
offer a
answer to your
rebuttal if you
question.
didn't? How could you
You did
offer a
not,
rebuttal if you don't
because
know
I
what the
brought up
argument
4
was?
different things: the Roman
You know what?
Imperium,
How
the
can you
historicity of the
rebut an
church,
argument if you
and
don't
the
know what the
Torah.
argument is?
The
There
Torah
is way.
is not historically accurate either.
You
are you
said
like
that the
capable of
census
engaging in
never
a
took
conversation like
place.
a
You're
normal
saying
adult
that the
human, or
birth
no?
never took place, but
I
even
didn't say any of that.
97% of
Nobody said
atheistic
that.
I didn't.
scholars.
Nobody said that. I think you're confused.
You are.
I didn't say
Literally
that.
nobody said that.
Do you think dodging
You are.
is
You said it
permissible
without
in the
saying
Christian
it.
worldview? And if not,
Yeah.
why
You're
just keep
saying it
doing
without
it?
saying it.
I thought lying
Good
was a
point.
sin.
You're saying Jesus was never born without saying
No, I
it.
didn't
Literally
say that
nobody
at
said
all.
that.
Oh my.
So you agree that Jesus was born?
Yeah, I agree
Sure.
that Jesus
Yeah.
was a real person. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, so why are you debating with me about his birth?
But the question
Bible
is
gets
whether or
it
not the
wrong.
Bible is accurate,
And the death
dummy.
of Herod, if it never happened. Now you're backpedaling.
I didn't
and
say
saying
that
it
it
did
never
happen?
happened. I'm showing that the Bible can't be
Thank you,
trusted
Gloria
because
a Dios, for exposing these fools.
Ooh, he's running. He's about to sprint away.
he's
Yeah,
running.
you know
Literally
that.
track
You know
back.
The
that
laces.
aspect. Oh
Here it
gosh, after
comes.
getting torn in half. The point, to be very clear, is that the Bible gets it wrong. That's what we're demonstrating.
Not that he was never
The
born.
Bible does, or
I'm
man?
sure he was born. The Bible gets when he was born wrong.
But how is it wrong if you're saying he was born? Because it says he was born
It gets
too.
when he was born wrong.
Yeah, but
The
that's
word
not
when's
Like
really
it's
tricky.
anything.
Like his.
Because the crucifixion still happened,
So
and Pilate
Harry
was
Truman
under reign.
So Harry Truman was actually born on May 8th, 1884. So if I found a
Harry
book
Truman is
that
not
said
Jesus
Harry
Christ.
Truman, please don't interrupt. If I found a book that said that Harry Truman was actually born on June 14th, 1893, the book that said that would be wrong.
Right, but we
Even
don't have
though
an
Harry
exact
Truman
date.
was still born.
Right, we don't have an exact date though, like
The
1946.
point is that the two dates that the Bible offers, the two approximate dates that the Bible offers for when Jesus was born, they both
Right.
can't be right because they are
It's more of a
different
fall
dates.
birth, since the shepherds were still tending to their flocks outside.
The
So it's
point
more
is
leaning
there are
towards a
two
fall
separate
birth.
dates that are given in the
Because
Bible. They
shepherds
can't
wouldn't
both be right.
shepherding in the winter, since the Middle East
Oh,
shows
Jesus.
temperatures as low
Am
as
I
20 degrees.
am I like speaking pig Latin or
He-
something? Like there are
he's
two
not
separate
listening at
dates given
all.
in the Bible.
If you don't want to
Can they both
be
be right?
proactive in this debate, bro, I can leave.
His
Because
Buddy,
I'm bringing
you
every
haven't
single piece of
engaged
rebuttal.
in a single talking point yet.
I'm
how
No one-
so much
redder
nicer
can
than these other
Ian's
guys. You
cheeks
want to
get?
have a conversation
Yeah.
with me
Red his
and not
cheeks
Ian
are.
and Justin.
Nobody's questioning what season Jesus was born in. We're
No,
questioning
I-
what
I
fucking
get
decade he was.
I get
What
that.
decade was he
I'm
born
saying
in?
is we don't have exact dates like 1946.
You have
so
contradictory
instead of being a
dates.
smart aleck,
You have
right? Instead of being
contradictions.
smart, I'm showing you the
Not
signs
being
or
smart, he
the
says, being
time
stupid.
period to when Christ was born,
But
right?
Okay,
it
so
was
it's like
10 years
they differ by like
difference.
10 years.
So your obsession with Harry Truman still falls short
No,
because
we
don't
know
have an
exactly when
exact
Harry
date
Truman was
such as
born.
such as 1946 December 5th or whatever you regurgitated.
Yeah, we have those dates for the presidents.
We have the exact
know
date
when
when
the-
Jesus was born. Do you care to share?
No,
No, I'm saying
the
we
point is
don't. That's
we
the
don't even know
argument.
what year he was born
Right,
in.
exactly. So again, 3 for 3.
He has no
Your
idea what
analogy
he's talking
fell short.
about.
Yeah, wait,
So-
so
so-
three for three. So the presidents are way more
At the end of the day,
documented
you
than
said
Jesus
Jesus was
is, to
born.
be clear. So then you
So
just
we-
agree
we
with us
established
that
that.
Jesus
Jesus
is
is
not the
born.
most
Let's
documented
move
person.
on.
He's certainly not more documented than all the
You
presidents,
affirm
because we know the
Jesus is
exact
born.
date
Let's
that
move
these
on.
presidents are all born, but we don't know
And
when
the
Jesus
exact
was
date when they
born.
died, and what their parents' names were, and what their
And
siblings'
how many
names
days
were.
it took for them to rise from the dead.
Yeah,
we've got their
0, by the way.
signatures.
So
Fuck, we got some of their
affirmed,
teeth.
out of your own mouths, you said Jesus was born. So
And we
can
also
do that.
affirm
we
that there's
agree.
more evidence for the presidents than for Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I already.
Which was your
Sure.
claim.
So then
that
you
too.
concede the point that you
You
made
didn't.
earlier. Okay, cool.
So-
yeah,
I'm glad we're in
sounds
So
good.
my next question.
I
since
don't,
Yeah,
I don't
there's
think you get a
already-
next
have
question, his.
Since secularists most affirm Christ existed, right?
Uh-huh.
Talk
Why
slowly, maybe it'll make your point more correct.
Do you affirm
why
that
do you
Muhammad
deny his
existed?
divinity?
Because you denied Muhammad's divinity. His message from Gabriel.
Muhammad never claimed divinity.
Well, he got a
Have you
divine
studied
message.
world religion, my friend?
Yeah, he got a divine message
Oh,
from
you have a master's
Gabriel,
in
and that's
politics,
where
right? Not theology.
it's not politics. It literally is theology. It's a master's of divinity. If you were listening, so
Right.
was.
So
Muhammad.
if you were a master
He doesn't know how.
So
in
so
world religion, you know
Muhammad.
Muhammad didn't claim divinity.
So
So
Muhammad
that's
got
another
a
lie.
divine revelation. He is God's handpicked
Right.
messenger.
Right.
So
Ali
you
Imran
don't
3.
you don't believe that, even though you believe Muhammad existed,
I
right?
do believe Muhammad received a revelation, just a false one. All the pagan
Again,
gods
do you-
Yahweh says are real, just demonic. They're not
So,
fake.
but okay, so the problem is just because someone existed doesn't mean the claims about them are true.
He
The
doesn't get it.
occurrence that Muhammad dealt with the quote angels of heaven and Allah, these were real things that happened. Muhammad's
sure.
marriage, all of these things were true events. I'm
So
not
the Quran's
denying that
100.
they-
Wait,
that
is
they
the Quran
happened. They
100%
did.
true? Is the Quran true?
The issue is Jesus
Wait, is the
talks
Qu-
about the broad path.
Is the
compared to
Quran
narrow
true?
path.
Is the Quran true?
The Quran is real, but it's not truth because Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the
okay.
life."
Guys, you can go check out a
brought
Quran
up
from the
Muhammad's
library.
not the first
Yeah.
messenger, right? Because you got that from me when I put in the comments earlier. Muhammad, right? You're
What the
exactly
fuck's he
correct.
talking about? You
Allah
think we read the
told
comments while we're
Muhammad
up
to
here?
Say, "I am not the first messenger, nor do I know the end." Right? But Allah also says that the first messenger was the Christ, His word, and the Ruh is spirit.
That's not.
So
First of all,
Maryam, Mary, is
they didn't
blessed
say
for
that
her
Christ was the
miracle
first messenger. They think
75
Moses.
times. That's the irony.
They actually said
is
that
even
Moses
Allah
was
says
the
Jesus is the
first
word of God.
messenger.
That's
Oh, he
the
doesn't care about
It
contradiction.
doesn't. It doesn't say that.
You think he
So,
cares about these basic things,
The
like
Torah
what's true?
and Tanakh
Come
are
on,
the
Justin.
Muslims'
No,
foundation
impossible.
that they reject and
Doesn't think
deny and
anything.
distort and cherry pick.
He hasn't read anything in this book.
You realize
No
this,
way.
right? Our faith is their foundation, yet they
I-
reject it.
They reject
You
it
realize this,
for
right?
the same reason, like I reject it, because it's silly.
Right.
Yeah,
So
wait,
just
but
like you made the
I'm
BS
curious, right? Do you
thing
have
about
evidence
all
that Jesus is
faiths,
divine? Can I
the
just get the
faith
evidence
freedom
of
thing?
Jesus'
Yeah.
divinity?
What's
Or
the
would
evidence
you like to
Jesus
do a
is
bit
divine?
more soy grandstanding?
Truth has to be exclusive.
Okay, he wants to do more soy grandstanding.
Yeah, he won't
Gotcha.
answer.
Many things can
There's
be
no
real,
way.
but not true.
Many things can be
Right?
real. Truth must be exclusive.
This is gonna be a good
this
clip,
this
man.
shit is so corny, dude.
This is going to be a really
Do you have
good
any
clip.
evidence that Jesus is divine?
Yeah. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
what is
number
it?
one, where's his body?
In the ground, decomposed.
Is it?
Probably doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Remember the lie that the Romans and the Jews crafted at the end of the gospel
You mean
about his
that's?
body being stolen?
You mean the mythology that the Bible invented?
That they said to go out and tell the world this, and
That's-
that's the lie that the people
That's
still
a
believe to this day.
mythology. We don't believe that happened.
So, if he didn't resurrect, surely we'd have his body, right?
Why?
Do we have the body
He
of
was
like
resurrected for how many months?
anybody?
Again?
Do we have the body of
He
David?
wasn't.
Fellowships for how long? 3 months.
Actually, we might have a sarcophagus from David in a different
No
portion of
way.
the wall. We
And if
don't
he
know.
didn't resurrect, how did John
Okay.
receive
it's
his
in-
revelation?
Well, he didn't. So the reality
That was in
is
95 AD
the
on Patmos,
the
right?
missing
And who was it raining during
bodies,
that time?
the missing bodies aren't proof of anything. For example, there's a guy
They
who
are,
went
because Rome would
missing.
burn 95% of the bodies. You
No,
need to ask Pilate for
I'm.
personal request
Do
if
you want
a
me?
body back.
No, you don't. Okay.
Yes,
So
you do.
a missing body is not evidence,
Prove me
or
wrong.
a story of a missing body is not evidence,
Prove me
because
wrong.
missing bodies were pretty abundant in the time period and even before the time period of Jesus. So one of the most famous examples is the body of a guy named Aristeas. People watching have probably heard me talk about Aristeas 100 times. I assume you've never heard of Aristeas. Aristeas died in a soap maker shop and his body went missing. So they locked the door behind him to go get the family because he had passed. And then when they came back to the soap shop and unlocked it, his body was suddenly missing. And then for like the next 300 years, people had been reporting that the resurrected Aristeas has been showing up to them. And that's obviously why the body had been missing. And this is documented.
Version of the
and
gospel.
it came way before Jesus.
I wonder where they made that concept from.
It came,
again, what does that have to do with Christ?
It came 300 years before Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, where do you think they got
Christ?
the concept from, guest? Where did it come from?
So wasn't it?
Oh God,
decreed
you tried to be like
Christ
condescending, like
No,
sarcasm,
listen.
genuinely
Since you don't
spawn
believe in
killed.
spiritual
Like,
warfare,
wow.
the devil creating fake beliefs, right, and false
Oh,
beliefs.
You probably
no.
should have just
the
talked to
truth.
Blitz while Blitz was trying
Wasn't
to be
it
nice to
decreed
you.
that Christ
Honestly.
is slain before
Actually,
the foundations of
I'll
the
take
world?
it back. It was 500 years before Jesus.
Oh
Jesus,
no.
that's so bad.
What is that disproving? I'm 4 for 4.
So you're certainly
I'm talking
not.
about Jesus, not
You got
Prometheus, not anybody else.
4 out of 4 failures. So the point was not knowing where a body is or a story about a missing body is not actually evidence that the dude resurrected, because on the same principle, you would reject the
How is it
resurrection of Aristeas. We would
We don't
reject the
have his
resurrection
body.
of, well, we don't have Aristeas' body either.
Okay, well, that's
So-
not Jesus.
So then Jesus resurrected.
Aristeas never came back
Aristeas
either.
did. Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he
Prove he
did
didn't.
not.
Prove he didn't.
It's in the story.
Which story?
You're a liar,
You've-
bro.
You've never heard of Aristeas, and now you
You're
think
a
there's
liar.
this
Prometheus
story about
is the
him.
same spin-off too. All the
This is
Greeks
not
were
about
very mad.
A
Prometheus.
spin-off
This
of
is-
what? What is it a
this is-
spin-off of?
And the Greeks even said that their gods
This-
were man.
Wait,
or
answer. Wait, what's this a spin-off of?
This was
Who's
written way
Aristeas a
after
spin-off
Homer.
of?
Jesus rebuked the Greeks, the Gnostics, the
He's
agnostics.
not going to
the
answer that
Ethiopians,
question.
He's never
Wait,
gonna
you made a-
answer.
Wait, you made a
the
specific claim. You
Romans.
said Aristeas is a spin-off.
Look how they
What is
love to
Aristeas
run.
a spin-off of? Answer the
Prove
question.
to me that Jesus
crazy.
didn't resurrect.
He's physically
Prove that
incapable of it
Aristeas
'cause
didn't.
he knows that it kills him. The
Prove
reason
it
why
to
the
me,
guest
'cause you
won't
can't-
engage, the reason why he's refusing to engage, is because he knows that this exact
Look at
question
them
shreds his
projecting.
entire worldview. You
They gotta
said
run
that
to that
Aristeas
because they
is a
can't answer my
spin-off.
question.
What is it
Yeah,
a
his diaper's
spin-off
full.
He doesn't
of?
even know who
That
Aristeas
diaper's
is.
really
like,
full.
He's never even heard the word before.
Yo, get some
2 minutes ago.
AirPods, my guy. Those are kind of out of date.
All he can do is attack my
Again,
headphone
prove
setup.
to me
That's
Like
it.
genuinely,
That's all he's got.
he is like on the ground,
Where's his
fucking
body?
playing with the door stopper. That's how badly
You
he got
realize
walloped
being
on.
born again is another proof that Christ resurrected. You
Another
realize this?
pivot, dude. He can't
No.
even stick on like one soy
Because it's
grandstand.
by
He
the
has to
power
go
of the
from
Holy
soy
Spirit.
grandstand to soy
not by
grandstand to
man's
soy
will or desire
grandstand.
that
Answer the
one's to
question.
be
You said
Christian.
Aristeas is a spin-off. What is it a spin-off of?
At least Blitz is listening.
He's not
I can hear
gonna
Blitz. I can
answer.
see Blitz is listening.
That's so devastating, dude.
2
It's
now,
rough.
right? Another
do you think that there are no
example
stories of
as to
resurrection
how
before
Christ
Jesus?
resurrected
There's
is
a bunch.
because his spirit now resides in the believers. That spirit
No,
would
that's
never be
Aristeas.
sent. That spirit would never be sent into the world if Christ never resurrected.
Well,
Because Christ
the
said,
spirit
after he
of
resurrected,
Aristeas
I am
lives
now
in
sending
me.
the helper. Or
Well,
the
that's what Aristeas
advocate
did.
to come
He-
and bring
he-
remembrance to
well-
you to all I said.
Well, the problem is that Aristeas did this way more than Jesus
the
or the
problem
Holy
is
Spirit.
you don't have a defense.
So I actually do. Let me read you the history. So this is
After a
what
debate performance like that, I just can't imagine thinking that it's the
Crazy.
winning
You're not
rhetorical
Christian,
move
bro.
after getting like genuinely like incinerated and then saying, well, you guys just don't have a defense.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Bring a rebuttal, then.
I'll read you what it says in some of the
You're
history.
just
So,
sitting
for
there.
example, this is Herodotus, book
Like a lame
5
duck.
of Histories. It says, what follows, I know happened to the people of Metapontion in Italy 240 years after the second disappearance of Aristeas, as I found by putting together the evidence at Proconnesos and Metapontion. The people of Metapontians say that Aristeus himself appeared in their land and bade them to set up an altar of Apollo and place it by his side, a statue of him bearing the name of Aristeus the Proconnesus. That's what Herodotus says happened.
I'm still waiting for your rebuttal.
I read you the rebuttal. Did you hear it?
We're talking about Jesus here.
I'm talking about Aristeus.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Christ says,
I'm cringing.
I am the
I'm cringing
way,
so
the
hard.
truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father
Well,
except through me.
Aristeus
more
said that that's
preaching.
false. Aristeus told me that's false.
Aristeus has sinned. Jesus
No, he
says,
didn't.
for he who knew no sin
Wait,
shall
Actually,
what was
no.
Aristeus' sin? Can you name the
Jesus
sin?
also said,
What was
it
it?
is
What was the
finished.
sin? What was the
I've
What was
sin?
not come to
Aristeus'
abolish
sin?
the law, but to
What sin did
fulfill.
Aristeus do?
Right?
What sin?
Jesus,
You said he sinned. What sin?
Jesus says, or for God's
Don't.
word
Oh
says,
yeah,
for it is by
that's clever,
grace
right?
through
What a good
faith you are
rhetorical tactic,
saved.
right?
Just
Don't engage
run
at all.
away.
Just keep on.
So you guys
Keep on
can't.
booking it, right? Keep on going full steam ahead. You said Aristeus sinned. What's his
Is he
sin?
on his SSRIs today, or did he forget to take them?
Holy shit, like
Because you're a little
genuinely
manic.
Spawn killed again. He can't. You notice every time I try to get a
This is what
specific
Gen Z
answer about
does
the
to you.
substance of what he just said, literally just the
Most
justification that
entitled,
what he
selfish,
said is
wicked
true.
generation
You know,
ever.
the basic backing
Prove
of the
to me
facts
Jesus
that he
didn't
just
resurrect,
claimed.
bro.
You know, all he can do is like
Prove
attack
to
me
me Jesus
personally.
didn't
It's because
resurrect.
his worldview is substanceless.
Oh wait, you can't. So you're gonna stay
Oh
emotional.
wait, you can't. All he has is more soy
Exactly.
grandstanding.
It's
He
not
can't
hard.
engage on the substance. All he can do is get blown out on the
Prove to me
points
Jesus
and then
didn't
pivot.
resurrect.
Prove
So
to me that
your
Where's
Aristeus
his
didn't
body?
resurrect.
Since you know so
Yeah.
well.
Prove to me
Since
that
you know
Aristeus didn't
so
resurrect.
much. Where's his body?
Prove to me that Aristeus
Why were the
didn't resurrect.
saints
He
venerating his
can't
empty
engage.
tomb in the reign of
Prove,
Hadrian in
why
2nd
were they
AD Rome?
venerating Aristeus?
You know Hadrian built
I'm
over
I'm
Christ's
still
tomb
waiting.
in
I'm still waiting
135
for you.
AD
No,
All
he
he has is
didn't.
as a form of
grandstanding. You sound like
mockery
the
and
verge of
He
tears,
blasphemy.
won't.
dude. Wait,
He won't
holy shit, I
actually.
feel kind of
Worship
bad.
He won't
temple
actually
It
engage.
sounds like you're
over
about
the
to start
tomb of
crying.
Christ to
Holy
worship
shit.
Jupiter,
I'm
which can
sorry.
still
I
be
didn't mean
seen
to be this
today.
mean to you.
It
I
can
That's
didn't
still be
not
realize
seen
this is
true.
the
today,
effect that
bro.
it would have.
So
It's really
that's not
okay.
true.
It's really
Saint
not that
Jerome wrote
serious.
this to
It's gonna
Paulinus
be
in letter
okay.
58.
So
That's
Hadrian, the
another
statue that
example.
he set up was on the Temple Mount, what was left of the temple after the Bar Kokhba revolt.
Right. Where's
He
the
did
temple?
not. He did not set
Why
anything
is the
on
temple
the
destroyed?
on the tomb of Jesus because nobody knows where his
Why is
tomb
the temple
is.
destroyed?
So the temple is destroyed because the Romans got tired of the Jews. That's why the temple got destroyed.
Was it
It's actually the
because of
Christians'
that?
fault that the temple got destroyed, by the way. Or that the
Didn't
Christian or that
Jesus
the Jews
I
lost
actually-
their
about
the
the
I
Jewish
actually agree
Roman
with
war.
that.
temple?
No, that was written after the temple was already destroyed. So no,
So Jesus didn't speak about the temple's destruction?
nah.
Why would the Jews be, or why would the Romans be so against Christianity up
I
until
hate the way you say
Constantine?
the Jews. Like
Well-
there's a lot of venom there.
If you had read the Bible, you would know it's because they were declaring that there was another king other than Caesar. That's in the book of
Right.
Acts. Oh, but you didn't read that.
Right. Hadrian specifically, like I was saying, hated
Hadrian didn't know shit
Christianity
about
so
Jesus.
much. He hated Christianity so much in 135 AD, right? I told you, you can research this. St. Jerome wrote to Paulinus in letter 58. He documents about the persecution going on, and we see the plans, right? And the blueprints of what the temple was. So
Yeah, we know about the temple.
manufactured, right? He built a temple to
Who did?
Jupiter, one of their gods,
He built
over the
a.
tomb of Christ
It wasn't the tomb of
as a
Christ.
form of mockery
That's
to the
that's
early
not in the
church
letter. It
because
was
they
over
would
the.
venerate
It was over the
in
Temple
his
Mount.
tomb.
That was
Letter
on the
58,
Temple Mount.
Paulinus, I made a video on it.
That's not
co-part.
there.
I have
No free
images.
clout,
I
by the
made a
way.
video. You can scroll down and watch it. You're
Sorry.
a
No
clown.
free clout. No free
Yep.
clout.
Look at the mythicists deny history again.
We're not mythicists.
Nobody here is a
Mythicists.
You're a
mythicist.
hyper
dipshit.
skeptic like Darwin.
Bro, look
or
at the
Dawkins.
Christian straw man the opponent's position again. Holy
You
shit.
wouldn't even believe
Classic
your own
Christian.
reflection.
Wait, sorry.
It's
Is
not
a
an
single
evidence
person on this
issue, it's a
panel
heart
mythicist?
issue, my
Here's another
friends.
question for you to not answer, for you to run
Jesus
some more like
Christ
soy
could come down
grandstanding
to
and
this
preaching.
earth.
Is a single one of us here a mythicist, or did you
So
straw man
refute
us?
me. Refute me on Hadrian, please.
Okay,
Rebuttal
sure. So
me.
he's not going to answer
Prove
that
to me
question
that didn't
either. That was a
happen
yes or no
either.
question, by the way. I don't know if you're aware of that. It was a yes or
I'm
no
showing you
question.
hundreds of years of history, man.
He's
You
not
gotta
going to answer
study
the
up,
yes or no
bucko.
question.
You actually haven't.
Why are
This
you
TikTok
incapable of
thing ain't
answering
working
this
out.
yes or no question? I just want to know, is anyone on the panel a mythicist, or did you straw man us?
I mean, you're claiming not to be mythicist. right? You claim that
So
Jesus was born,
then you strawmanned
but
us.
you can't show me how he wasn't resurrected.
Okay, sure. So then we agree that you strawmanned us like 5 seconds ago. Okay, I'm fine with that as long as we agree that you were
I've brought
strawmanning us.
6 arguments to you, and you
Also, I've got letter 58 open. It doesn't say what you said it said.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah, well,
Actually,
the
I'll green
whole
screen it. Put
the
me
whole-
on the large screen. I'll green screen it, and we can read it
well,
together.
I'll just put it on the
Let's
screen
read
since
all of Jerome's
I actually
letters, by
have
the way.
We're not going to read all of that.
Oh yeah, we're going to read his
Didn't
entire
Josephus talk about the
his
persecution
entire
of the Christians
corpus.
also, and Pliny and Tacitus.
Not Josephus. So here's the
Right.
letter
Even
right here.
Pliny talked
and
about.
if well, Pliny did mention the Christians a little bit. So the question is there something in here about Jesus's tomb? Right? You said that this is going to say Hadrian put something on Jesus's tomb. So the only mention of Hadrian is once, right
Justin,
here in this paragraph.
Connection.
What connection?
Your connection was getting choppy. Honestly,
sorry.
Is this worth continuing? Should we just move on?
Why don't we read the full letter?
I can't hear him at all. Can you guys hear him?
I can hear him.
Is he saying anything?
He's saying we should just move.
Yeah, I can
Look
hear
at them
him.
ignore.
So the part
I
of
couldn't
the
hear him.
letter that mentions Hadrian, it says from the
Read
time
it.
of Hadrian to the reign of Constantine, a
Read-
period of about 180 years, the spot which had witnessed the resurrection was occupied by a figure of Jupiter, not the tomb. Isn't that interesting? So you didn't read the letter.
Read the full letter.
The claim is that the statue of Jupiter
Even
was
ChatGPT can cite it for
the
you. bud.
claim.
Oh my God.
Is that the
Oh,
place
wait,
of the
hold on, let's see,
resurrection
let's see.
is where they set up the statue of Jupiter?
Right. Where
Do you
was
have
the
an AI
place of the
picture of yourself as
resurrection?
your
The
profile
cross
picture?
or the tomb, bozo? Where did the rock? Where was the
Well,
rock?
it wasn't
rolled
at the
away?
tomb.
So Jesus was buried at the cross.
Jesus resurrected in Galilee.
Where did the guards stand?
Jesus resurrected in Galilee. Did you not read Acts? Acts
Read
1?
that letter again.
Acts 1:11.
Read the letter again, tough guy.
It literally says
that
he was raised in Galilee.
You just
says,
affirmed it.
While he was going, and they were gazing up towards heaven. I'll just mute you for a second. It says, while he was going.
Read it.
Actually, we'll start in 9. It says, when he had said this, as they were watching, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. While he was going, and they were gazing up towards heaven, suddenly 2 men in white robes stood by them. They said, Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking up towards heaven? This Jesus, who has been taken up from you into heaven, will come the same way you saw him go into heaven. And this happened in
right. He ascended.
The Galileans. So did it say it happened at his tomb?
Letter again. What did they build on? What did they build?
The place of resurrection, not the tomb.
Read
the place
St.
of the
Jerome's
witness
letter
of the
again.
resurrection, to be precise. Right.
As much fun as it's been debating Whiny the Elder, I have to go to the line. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
bro,
bye,
killed
Ian.
it.
Thanks, you couldn't
Good to see you, buddy.
I picked them, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was as good a time. That's amazing.
You know what? I've seen some overconfident dumb people in my life. He might be the dumbest of them and the most overconfident.
Would you talk to another one after this? After the super chat?
Yeah, I think we know exactly who's coming after this. But yeah, let me grab some super chats, friends. From Kelly, thank you so much. Says body count. Say that 20 times fast.
Body count, body count, body count, body count, body count, body count, body count. It just sounds like a beat.
Starting to sound like Vatican a little bit. You can turn that into a beat. Let's get a drum machine going. The Kurt Price, thank you so much for the super chat. This is just for Dr. Blitz's snark while Ian answered my question. Snark is good.
I deserve it.
Yeah, for sure. And from Cahoto, good to see your friend. Finally caught Justin live. Well, thanks for being here. I've been thinking of something, and I need to know if God or Jesus ever said to worship Jesus, especially in the Old Testament.
Jesus' name is never mentioned in the Hebrew Bible.
Yeah, Jesus. Time. Yeah, I think what you might be asking is the Messiah supposed to be worshipped? And not really. The book of Daniel is the only book that might get you there. In Daniel chapter 7, but it's not really clear that the idea was that they would be worshipped like a deity of some sort. It's more like a demigod, like an archangel would receive some sort of praise. So you see John J. Collins on this particular matter. He's really good on this one. And the algorithm has summoned me. Great to see you, friend. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Justin, I have a question regarding something I saw on Mindshift. Daniel 10, 12 through 14, God's Prayer, Bluetooth signal gets nixed because of the Prince of Persia. True. The video game, or Jake Gyllenhaal, who's the prince? Cutie God. Okay, so the prince, there's basically three princes. The first prince is supposed to be the Messiah. That's one of the archangels, typically Michael. In chapter 12, he defeats all the enemies. The other princes are the angels. So the Prince of Persia and the Prince of Greece have to fight against the Prince of Israel, who's going to be Michael. So in this time period, typically the angels were referred to as princes, even as far back as Ezekiel. You'll catch some use of the word prince. It kind of creeps into their language. So the prince are the governing divinities that are over top of the individual nations that are expected to manage the nations. And so the reason why the Israelite prince has to fight with the other princes is because they need to regain control over those nationalities and institute what Yahweh actually wants. So in accordance with like Psalm 82. And from I'm the Big Cheese says, never seen a bank robbery or a homicide by drunk driving carried out by practicing Satanists. True. Pretty sure per capita, practicing Satanists commit fewer violent crimes than Christians. And I would say when it comes to like SA, way less.
Yeah, way less. Justin, check out Discord.
Sure, I got you.
While you're doing that, we have Justice from Justice for Uza with $35. Hey all, apologies if this is redundant, but I have a PSA. On Dalton's Live on 625, our good buddy Matthew came in and said W for Arwen's house burning down. Jesus Christ. What the hell? He's a piece of shit, that's all. Bye. That's really messed up, dude.
Yeah. Holy shit. What?
Who would that's like monstrous. Very Christian of him, of course.
True. And from Dr. Joe, another super chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bud. Thank you, Dr. Joe, for the $20 super chat. I'll have to drop. Me, don't threaten me with a good time. Also, my Sunday morning Trinity, you're going to have to find less infuriating guests for this month because my budget can't support this level of ignorance. We will do our best, Dr. Joe. Thank you so much for being here and supporting. And from Can Best, go ahead.
I was just about to click that one. Yeah,
there we go.
KMB sending a $200 super chat, which is enormous. Thank you so much, KMB. I don't know. Let's get 2,000 W. I don't know if we have 2,000 people watching. Let's get 200 Ws in the chat for KMB because it's very generous. What evidence do Christians point to validating that Mary was a virgin? If an unmarried woman got pregnant back then, wouldn't rational people in this day of science, along with understanding the misogynistic culture back then, assume it wasn't a virgin conception? Funds for October. Indeed, funds for October.
So back then, the idea of a virgin birth wasn't like unheard of. In fact, there's quite a few virgin births in the ancient world. When you wanted to signal that there was a divine plan for your life, even if that plan is just that you become the Caesar, they typically look and record like miracle type instances. That's why so many people will have like, oh, the parents were barren and then God granted them a child. Or if you read the life of the 12 Caesars, you'll find that they record miracle events. Sometimes really there's natural events, but they'll record what they think are miracle events near the birth of the individual Caesar, indicating that in fact it was a signal from God that they were divine. So it was pretty common for people to assume miracles during birth. However, with Mary, we've got pretty good evidence that it was unfaithfulness. Check out I don't want to call it a theory, but check out the argument that she slept with a guy named Pantera. In fact, even in the Talmud, they call him Yeshua ben Pantera on quite a few occasions, or Bar sometimes, because of Aramaic. But the idea that Jesus was born to a guy named Pantera it's outside of the Bible. Celsus mentions it. It's all over the Talmud. And there's another document outside of those two that mentions it. So the likelihood is that he was just, born out of wedlock, and they had to escape to keep from getting whacked. And, and Mary told him that he was special, and that's how we got here. From Can Best, thank you for the $69 super chat.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Can Best. Is this guy really that dumb? Yep, he clearly is that dumb, and you nailed it. He's not bright. But you know what? At least what he makes up for in intelligence or what he lacks in intelligence, he makes up for in confidence.
And not charisma, importantly, from Mike Ellison with the $50 super chat. You guys are being very generous today. It's very, very handy. By the way, it's not for this is not funding for the October trip. This is funding for the July trip, which is in like 2 weeks.
Sure.
So, you know, oh my goodness, the patience to deal with these incels. Hang in there, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's the deal with today in incels. It feels like we've gotten all of them being incels, except the first guy. The first guy may have been an incel at one point in his life, but it seems like he's evolved to a higher state of being.
Okay. All right, let's get our very science literate friend Matthew up here to talk to Dr. Blitz, I assume for the 100th time.
I actually have only spoken with him twice, maybe. The second time was when he lied about who he was.
Where'd Ian go?
Well, he has to go host on another show.
Ian had to go be somewhere else.
Okay, so he ran away. Okay.
Definitely. Ian is afraid of you. That's definitely what happened. Yeah. So, what's the contention today? Are we just running the same arguments that you've run 100 times now? So we've already talked a lot of times.
So let me just get it all over with.
Are we gonna just run the clam again, or
let me just get it all out of the way? We've already talked so many times, so I'm just gonna say it really quick. Let me just get it out of the way real quick, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna make a claim. Okay, it's grounded in the best physics and cosmology that we have today. And the universe is not eternal. It had a beginning, and if it had a beginning, it has a cause. And that cause is what we mean by God. So I'm going to give you 3 independent lines of evidence. Each one is strong on its own. Together, they form a cumulative case that is overwhelming. And I'm going to anticipate every objection you might have and answer it before you can even raise it. So let me just start off by telling you the evidence that we have. So observational cosmology, the universe is expanding. In the 1920s, Edwin Hubble discovered that galaxies are moving away from us. The farther away they are, the faster they are moving. This is Hubble's law. So recession velocity equals the Hubble's constant times distance. This means the universe is not static, it's expanding. And if you run that expansion backward, you reach a point where everything, space, time, and matter was compressed into a hot, dense state.
Oh, no, that doesn't follow.
Big Bang.
That doesn't follow. It's just not true.
Wait, so you
it doesn't imply anything about space, time, and matter coming into existence
was compressed into a hot, dense state?
No. That they came into existence. Space, time, and matter.
I never said that. I said they were all compressed into a hot, dense state.
So time wasn't compressed into a hot, dense state.
What do you mean?
The matter was compressed. The matter was dense. The matter was hot. It doesn't make sense to say that space was hot or compressed. What is true is that the matter within space was hot.
What is the expansion?
What do you mean? What is it? The scale factor increases as a function of time.
What is expanding?
The scale factor grows as a function of time. That's what it means for the universe to be expanding.
Okay, what does h equals a dot over a mean? What does that mean?
That's the Hubble constant or the Hubble parameter. It's not really a constant, but
okay.
It's the logarithmic temporal derivative of the scale factor.
Okay, so let me ask you one more question. So I believe that the expansion is happening everywhere. So the universe is isotropic. It looks the same in every direction. And that's
okay. That's a perhaps reasonable claim. I mean, it's not literally isotropic, but roughly isotropic.
On large scales, and this is supported by the cosmic microwave background and large-scale galaxy surveys. If the expansion were only local, we'd see preferred direction or a center. We don't. Okay, the simple.
Look, I'm willing to grant that on large scales, the universe is isotropic and homogeneous. That's fine.
Okay.
So also,
do you agree?
Because I already know where Matthew's going to go, and he's going to make a claim that Blitz is not going to agree with and pretend like Blitz is in agreement. So
he just agreed.
The thing that's going to come, he didn't. Not with what you're about to do. Blitz doesn't know where you're going because he hasn't heard your new dumb argument.
Oh, I have. Don't worry.
Oh, you already have. Okay, so
I've been watching you.
Okay, so you already know that his argument is that he definitively knows that the universe is finite. And there's nothing outside of what we can observe.
Is that the case, Matt?
Oh, yeah, that's what I just now told you. You just now disagreed with that view. Just now.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I never made the claim that the universe is finite in size.
Yeah, that's why I told you. I was going to clarify it.
Interestingly enough, Matt.
Wait, so
if the universe is homogeneous and isotropic, then it follows that the universe doesn't have an edge.
Are you saying that the observable universe is not expanding? I mean, it is expanding, but not the whole universe? But not the whole universe, my bad.
I'm not saying that either.
So are we observing the whole universe expand, yes or no?
Nope, we're only observing the observable universe expanding.
Okay, so we're observing the observable universe expanding, not the whole universe, right?
Yep.
That's what we said.
Okay, so the expansion, you just now conceded that that's not what's happening. So the expansion we observe is uniform in all directions. If the expansion were only local, if we were just in a special bubble, we'd expect
I
to
never
see
said that it's
differences.
local.
Nobody said that.
That's what you just said.
No, I said that we only
You
observe
said the observable universe is
expanding.
expanding, but not the whole universe. So
I
we're in a
didn't
local
say
section,
I didn't say
special
the whole
bubble.
universe is not expanding. I never said that.
Oh, okay, is it?
I would think that's actually quite plausible. Yeah.
So the question,
Are
Matt,
we observe-
isn't
Are
You
we
can't
observing
observe
the
it.
whole universe expand?
yeah
We
the
can't
question.
observe the whole universe expand.
Wait, is the observable is there anything beyond the observable universe? Yes or no?
If it's homogeneous and isotropic, then yes.
What's beyond it? More space and time that we just can't
Yeah,
observe.
if,
right
if
now?
it's homogeneous and isotropic, then yeah.
Just that we just can't like see right now.
Yeah, if it's homogeneous and isotropic, then it
Because
follows
like
that there's
maybe
just
like
more,
the Big
there's just
Bang
more,
didn't catch up.
more
like,
galaxies, more stars, etc. beyond the observable universe.
Oh, okay, so it's just more space and time, right?
Yep. Well, not more time,
So
more
is there a
space.
starting point? So wait, what is before the Big Bang?
I don't know.
What is the Big Bang?
Are we talking about like the hot Big Bang, or are we
Is it
talking about a singularity?
isn't it explosion in space?
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, is it the start of space expanding?
No. Not if you're
So what
not
is
if you're
the
thinking about
Big-
lambda CDM.
So wait, what is the Big Bang? I'm confused now because you said it's not
The
an
Big Bang is
explosion in
the Big Bang is
space.
a description of the universe from when it was a very hot, very dense, matter-filled thing.
I thought
and,
time can't be hot and
a
dense.
history. Sorry?
I thought time cannot be hot and dense. You said the
I didn't
universe
say
was hot
time
and dense.
was
That
hot.
includes time. That includes time, though. The universe
I
includes
wasn't.
time.
I was talking about the matter.
You gotta be more specific.
Okay, you just need to learn to pay attention better. But anyway, so the Big Bang describes the universe, and here I'm talking about like the stuff, the matter, being in a hot, dense state about 13.8 billion years ago, and from that state evolving towards what we see now, including the observable universe. That's the
Okay.
idea of lambda CDM. It doesn't say anything about a singularity, doesn't say anything about the beginning of space, time, and matter, doesn't say anything about any of that.
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you that we have good reason to believe the expansion is happening everywhere. The universe
I
is
agree.
isotropic. It looks
I
the
agree.
same in every direction.
Well, you
evenly
keep saying this. This
distributed
is
on our
agreed upon.
scale.
Sure, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you keep
So if
bringing
the
this up? What does that have to do with
so I'm
anything?
saying the
Because
expansion
Matthew
isn't
is
just, like,
still trying to
local.
smuggle in ideas. I'll explain it.
The
Matthew still
expansion,
thinks
if the expansion were only
when
local,
Blitz
we'd see
when
a
Blitz
preferred direction or a
says
center.
when Blitz says that the expansion is happening everywhere, he's
Time
not
isn't
saying
infinite.
he's not
Space
saying
isn't infinite.
he's not saying that he knows it's happening outside of the
Space
range
is
of
not infinite.
observability.
No beginning to
Actually,
infinity.
I am saying that. I mean, I don't know for certain, but
beginning
I'm
to
saying that that's
infinity.
quite plausible.
Well,
and
that's
by
what
the way,
well-
by the way, the simplest model, if you want to use Occam's razor for a homogeneous and isotropic universe, is one in which the space is indeed infinite.
No, I agree that space is that's my opinion. Space is infinite, but
It's also if it's homogeneous and isotropic, it's infinite and it's expanding everywhere, even outside of the observable universe.
right. But the point is simple, and Matthew is going to keep doing this to you, right? When you say a statement about the observable universe, he's going to try to apply it to the entire universe.
If the universe is homogeneous and isotropic, which is a reasonable thing to assume, there are some things that you can infer about the rest of the universe that's not observable. Like,
right, but
if the universe
Matthew,
is homogeneous and isotropic, yeah, no, don't worry, I'll catch him on what he's doing.
I'm saying Matthew's argument is based on what we know, not what we think the universe is like, right?
And
so that's why I want to keep limiting when we talk about the universe. Matthew is saying we know one thing to be true, and you're being generous, and you're saying, well, it could be also these things. In order to keep Matthew from getting confused, I think we should try to make sure when we're talking about just the observable universe and what we know about it, we say the observable universe, because Matthew keeps getting them mixed up.
Yo, what are you?
So did you hear what Dr. Blitz? Did you hear what Dr. Blitz said about the infinite universe?
No, I don't think.
Yeah. So if we assume the whole universe, not just the observable universe, is homogeneous and isotropic, which is a reasonable thing to assume. If we assume that, and we also take Occam's razor, as in the simplest model that accounts for the data is the correct model, then the implication of those two, input data is that the universe is indeed spatially infinite, meaning it extends forever in all directions.
So it's extending forever.
No, extending or it is extended forever in all directions, meaning it is you could travel in any one direction forever.
Oh, it's extended forever.
At any speed that you want, and you would never reach an edge. You would never loop back on yourself.
Oh, wait, so the universe didn't expand?
No, the universe is expanding.
Oh, I thought it was extended.
It's both. The universe can be infinitely large and also be expanding. These are not in contradiction, and you would know this if you knew anything about differential geometry.
You're trying to say that there's like this. You're saying that this small dense point is like an.
It's infinite, yeah.
An infinity.
Could be. Yep.
Is that what
Could be infinitely large and still quite dense.
It's infinite and it's expanding.
Yep.
Is it growing?
That's what expanding means?
The scale factor is increasing. That's what we mean when we say that the universe is expanding.
How do you add to infinity?
The scale factor is increasing. That's what it means when we say that the universe is expanding. This is not that the total volume is getting bigger. The total volume is not the total volume may not be finite, in which case it's not even a number that you can talk about.
If it's greater than 0, meaning the universe has expanded more than it's contracted, then the universe is geodesically passing complete.
You don't even know what those words mean. How do you compute
the
average?
Not one of them.
How do you compute the average expansion rate?
How do I compute it?
Yeah. How do you determine what the average expansion rate is? And he's going to flounder here because he doesn't actually know what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Well, I said average expansion is implies passing completeness.
Yeah. How do you figure out what the average expansion rate is to figure out if it's greater than 0?
We
What's
measure
the computation that you do
empirically.
No, you don't measure it. This is a calculation that you do. If you want to prove that the BGV theorem, then you have to give a mathematical definition for what the average expansion rate is. So what's the mathematical definition of the average expansion rate? What's the formula?
I don't know. What was it? I forgot. It's long. It's like for the BGV theorem?
It's one line.
For the BGV theorem?
Yep.
It's not one line. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the formula for average expansion rate is one line.
It's H average equals 1 over tau sub f or something like that.
There's
tau
more.
sub.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
Let me go get my paper. Hold on. My bad. I have all this written down on paper. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I learned all this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I got into all this stuff because of you. Like, that's how I really got to learn all this stuff. Like, when you first asked me what a mathematical definition is, that's how I learned about mathematical definitions, like exergy and like, you know, all that stuff. But the equation is H average equals 1 over tau sub f minus tau sub I times the integral from tau sub I to tau sub f of h of tau d tau.
Okay, now two questions. What values can tau take on? What values can tau take on?
What values?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is this a definite integral or an indefinite integral?
I don't know. Why does that matter?
You don't even know what a definite integral is, or an indefinite integral. It does matter. It absolutely does matter.
Okay,
and I can explain why.
Wait. What does it mean?
So the point is
it right or is it wrong?
It's wrong. I mean, the formula that you read off of the paper is correct.
Is that the conclusion? It says
that was the formula that they gave for the average expansion rate.
If the average Hubble expansion rate is greater than 0,
right, and the formula that they give is a definite integral. In particular, it's a definite average. But it's a definite integral divided by an integral.
What does that mean?
It's a kind of integral, which means unless I'm explaining. Shut up for a second. Unless the expansion rate ever diverged in a particularly nasty way, the average expansion rate could never, meaning that they are literally begging the question when they say that if they're literally begging the question because the past because they are assuming I'm explaining. Shut up. They're literally begging the question because the thing that they're integrating over is a finite past. They're only integrating up to a finite past. They're not allowing for the past to be infinite. So they
Well,
so
wait, why
the
should we think that the
claim
past is
is
infinite? That doesn't
tautological.
follow.
No, that
doesn't
should be
follow.
that should be allowed from like as part of the hypotheses.
Why is
The
the
idea
past
is that
infinite?
I'll explain. The idea is that if you want to compute the average Hubble expansion, what you need to do, because this is your hypothesis, not your conclusion. What you need to do is you need to allow for the range of all possible ways that the geodesic could be complete. And because they're only integrating along a finite segment of a geodesic, obviously, tautologically, it will be the case that the geodesic will be incomplete because a geodesic is incomplete if it's a finite segment. And they're assuming it's a finite segment when they compute the average Hubble expansion rate. They're assuming it's incomplete and then saying, therefore it's incomplete. Like, no shit.
Okay, so it says that the integral adds up the expansion rate at every moment between the initial and final times.
Yeah,
Then
they're
we
assuming there's an
divide by the
initial.
total time.
That's the point.
Then we divide by the total time to get the average.
Right, they're assuming that there's an initial point.
If this average
Yep.
is greater than
Do you understand that? That they're
applies.
assuming that there's an initial point?
I'm saying
The
it's a
con-
mathematical proof.
The conclusion
based on the
is
definitive
in the
integral.
first premise.
Integral. I'm saying
The
BGV
first
theorem
premise
is a
is
mathematical
the conclusion,
proof.
which is why it's begging the
It's a
question.
mathematical proof.
It's not.
It is a mathematical proof. It's just
Well, I
a
mean,
trivial mathematical
it's a
proof.
mathematical proof, but it doesn't actually match.
Physical description
It
of our
does.
universe, though.
It doesn't match.
My mathematical models have
It only
empirical
matches
evidence.
if you
Yours
assume
don't.
the universe had a beginning.
They do.
Just to be clear, Matt. The
Is the
point
average
is that the
expansion zero?
BGV theorem says if a geodesic is past incomplete, then it's past incomplete. That's all it's saying. And then it adds some fluff on top of that. But if you assume the geodesic is not past incomplete, then it just then the rest of the theorem just doesn't follow.
No. Do you even know what does
Absolutely.
on average expanding mean? What does that mean?
In fact, they don't even define it properly.
Actually,
they
do.
actually don't. If you had read the paper that I had sent you,
it does not mean every region of space is expanding at every moment.
I know. It means I know they're defining it along a particular geodesic. I'm aware. I've read the papers. I understand the papers. I'm like I know what an integral is. You clearly don't.
That
so
if you follow
I don't think that you have the ability to understand these papers.
Backward or forward through space-time, and it means that if you follow a path called a geodesic backward or forward,
an incomplete geodesic, by the way.
Ooh, a path?
The geodesic that they're starting with is incomplete.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah,
by
so they're assuming that the geodesic is incomplete.
Starting with? What are you talking about? They're starting with?
Yeah. So when they compute the average Hubble expansion,
okay, so it's incomplete.
Okay.
You can see. Okay.
Matt, chill out for a second. Let me explain something.
So it's incomplete.
So the idea is that they compute the average Hubble expansion for some interval along a geodesic, and they say if the Hubble expansion is greater than zero, the average Hubble
forward,
expansion.
not infinitely backward. I said backward or forward, not all the way backward.
I don't know why you have trouble shutting up for a second and let me explain something to you. You have the opportunity.
It's not incomplete. I just said backward or forward, not all the way backward.
So
I said incomplete. If it goes a little bit backward, is it incomplete? Doesn't follow.
So if you take a segment of a geodesic and you integrate along that geodesic, say the expansion rate, the expansion rate, and then you divide by the length of the segment, that will give you an average expansion rate. But it's also trivially true that if you only integrate along a segment, that geodesic is indeed incomplete. Geodesics, by definition, are extended maximally. And so if you start or stop at some arbitrary point to make your computation, that the geodesic that you are examining is incomplete already. They're not allowing for the geodesic to be incomplete.
I never said that. I never even said it's a straw man.
I didn't say you said this. I'm explaining why the theorem is trivially true and doesn't say anything about the possible infinitude of the past of a geodesic. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to educate you on this, Matt, because clearly you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so I wasn't strawmanning you. I was just explaining why the BGV theorem has a problem.
What'd you say?
I was explaining to you why the BGV theorem has a problem.
Okay, well, I'm trying to tell you that I understand, okay, but listen, it applies to the sequence of all cycles, and I just now explained that, but you're not listening.
It doesn't apply to, it only applies to finite intervals.
Finite integrals?
intervals.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
So
conclusion.
this BGV theorem can't even talk about the possibility of
it's
there
a
being a past
mathematical proof.
infinite interval.
Yeah, I'm
The
saying
point
that
is if you start with a
proves
finite interval
past.
or a finite interval, of course your conclusion is that the interval is finite. That's trivially true.
So you're saying that the you're saying that Mithani and Lincoln just are yapping, and they get their
Methani?
papers
Do you mean
published.
Borda, Guth, and Vilenkin?
No, I'm talking about the papers where they falsified the eternal inflation cyclic models in emergent universes.
Yeah, if they were making the same mistake that they made in the original BGV theorem paper, then yeah, they would be mistaken.
Okay. Am I making the mistakes that they're making?
Yeah, seemingly, yeah. Or rather, you're just pretending that you understand the mistakes.
Well, no. I never said that I understand like everything to a T, but I'm being honest. I have a lot of I read all this stuff down and stuff, and I'm trying to learn more. But I'm telling you that I understand a lot.
So
I understand a lot.
So there's a
understand
paper that I sent you.
everything.
There's a paper that I sent you, and directly after the description of the BGV theorem, they say careful study of, and they reference the BGV paper, equations 5, 10, and 11, reaps that the computed integrals are evaluated on the boundary per Stokes' theorem, and thus the underlying topology of the H-average calculation is a compact set, seeing as no mention is made of any limiting procedure not including the boundary. In this way, please let me finish reading. In this way, the integral is predestined to converge, assuming the minimum condition that H average or H of lambda is never infinite on a set of non-zero Borel measure. Canonically, properties of geodesic completeness are formulated with respect to maximal geodesic rays of domain, of domain 0 to B, where B is not included; it's excluded from the interval. A strict reading of theorem 1 then begs the question of what underlying interval to select, and the value of H average varies depending on the interval. No matter which compact interval is chosen, any compact geodesic segment is necessarily incomplete by the discussion from section 2. By defining geodesics in this matter over compact intervals, it is difficult to compare theorem 1 to the standard mathematical literature, and even worse, is equivalent to incompleteness. A strict application of theorem 1, exactly as written, allows for the possibility that an inflationary spacetime could be complete. So they're not proving anything. They just assume from the get-go that there's no possibility of a complete inflationary spacetime, which is the thing in question here. They assume the thing that they want to prove true.
So they're just assuming. What are they assuming? The past is incomplete, or did they prove that? I don't understand.
They assume that there are no geodesics.
Are they assuming that, or are they proving that?
No, they assume it. They assume it.
Are they proving it or assuming it? What the fuck?
They are assuming it. I'm being precise with my language on purpose. They are assuming it, not proving it.
So wait, so
it's assumed in the formulation of the theorem. Is it
mathematically proven? Yes or no?
They assumed A is true and then use that to prove that A is true, which is akin to, or which amounts to, not proving anything.
They assumed A is true. What do you mean?
Okay, I was giving you an example, like a hypothetical. If I assume A is true, and then I go through a whole bunch of calculations, and then I show, I'm not talking about the scale factor. I'm talking about just a generic proposition A.
Oh.
If you assume something is true, it doesn't matter what you do next. If you then prove A is true from your assumption that A is true, you haven't proved anything.
So wait, so we're assuming A is true, and if you assume A is true, you haven't done anything? Wait, is it mathematically proven that A is true?
You assume A is true, and then you prove A is true because you assumed A is true.
Okay, so
that's a valid mathematical proof. It just doesn't demonstrate that A is actually true.
So if I assume A is true, and then I eventually prove A is true,
based off of the assumption that A is true, which is what's happening here.
Yeah. So is it still an assumption? So yeah, based off the BGV's assumptions, right?
The assumption is that A is true.
The assumption is that the average expansion rate is positive.
No. The assumption is that the geodesics are not complete.
No. Oh, no. If the average expansion
they literally assume that the geodesics are not complete in their calculation of H average.
It assumes if the average expansion rate along a path-directed geodesic is positive, then that's based on.
No, that's not what it assumes. You're missing a key assumption of the original BGV theorem.
You're skipping
or the original
to the conclusion.
BGV paper.
You're skipping right to the conclusion.
I'm not talking about the conclusion. I'm talking about an assumption. So the lambda ti or the tau I, tau f, whichever one you're using, those are finite numbers, right? Which means that they're assuming that the geodesic that they're integrating over is already incomplete. When they
So
when
they're
they do the
assuming.
computation, they assume it's already incomplete.
Yeah. Okay. And then they proved it.
So
Okay.
you can't assume that it's incomplete and then use that to prove it's incomplete,
Oh.
because then you're just relying on an assumption to prove the assumption is true. It doesn't work. That'd be like saying, if I assume Matt was happy when somebody's house burned down, it therefore follows logically that Matt was happy when somebody's house burned down. That doesn't prove that Matt was actually happy that somebody's house burned down.
Okay, so you're saying that they proved something based off an assumption.
Yeah, based off of the assumption of the thing that they were trying to prove. Exactly.
Okay, so what does it mean for it to be mathematically proven then?
It's a trivial statement. It's not mathematically proven any more than if I assume A is true, then it's proven that A is true.
So they're just saying that, okay, so they mathematically
This is an incorrect
assumption
proof. If this was submitted to a mathematical journal, it wouldn't have passed muster.
So you're saying they assume. Okay, so why is it published on papers?
Because
why
it was
is that?
published in a physics journal, and physics journals don't check the math as closely as math journals do.
So like, what even is the BGB theorem then at this point?
Incorrect.
No, I said, what even is it? Oh, it's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
They
Yeah.
assumed it, and they proved it. Boy, I don't understand. Like, all these
Now
papers
it
on the
could be fixed, perhaps.
But these papers,
you could
are
try to
on like
fix
the
it to make it
ARXIV
correct.
and stuff.
Sorry?
All these papers are like on the ARXIV and stuff like that.
Okay, it's pronounced archive, number one. Second, yeah, there are a lot of things based off of something that is seemingly incorrect. When I say seemingly incorrect, like it's been demonstrated to be incorrect. Now, what is true is that it could be morally correct in that there is some kernel of an idea there that's representative of the truth.
So are you saying
true.
Are you saying it's not a mathematical possibility?
I have no idea what you mean by that. What I'm saying is that the theorem as written is false. Not only, well, it's actually not even false. It's not even wrong. It's sufficiently vague that it's not even like a well-posed statement.
Yo, I don't even know. Like, maybe this is just like a really big strawman in the BGB. Who really knows?
It's not.
Point.
I've read both papers.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You can go look at the original paper. You can go look at the response paper that I sent you. They go in extreme detail. And by the way,
oh, you sent it to me?
Paul Davies.
On what? When was this?
What? This paper was published 3 years ago.
I can look at it right. Oh, what was it about?
Yeah, the one by Lefnesky, Eason, and Davies.
What was it about?
The one that you said that you read, the one that was demonstrating the problems with the BGB theorem. Did you not read it?
I never said I read that.
Yeah, definitely did.
No, I didn't. I said that I read a paper about eternal inflation and all that. Emerging universes.
That paper is about eternal inflation. Anyway, but okay, so if you haven't read it, then you should go read it. It's by Lefnesky, Eason, and Davies.
I literally read it. I have a picture on my phone right now and have all the points highlighted.
The one by Lefnesky, Eason, and Davies. So you did read it. Why'd you say you didn't read it?
No, not that paper. I don't know what paper you're talking about. I'm talking about Lincoln and Methani. What are you talking about?
Okay, so you should read the paper by Lefnesky, Eason, and Davies.
Okay, did you?
It gives the criticism that I'm giving you.
Wait, what do I search up?
Look up Lefnesky, Eason, and Davies. The title of the paper is "On the Past Completeness of Inflationary." I think I may have. "On the Past Completeness of Inflationary Spacetimes" is the name of the paper.
Okay, I'll just go look at it after we're done. I'm not gonna be able to like.
But the point is, and so the things that I'm saying, you can find them in this paper.
Put it on the screen. Can you put the paper on the screen?
Yeah, Justin, can you? I think you have it, right?
What's the name of the paper again?
I just sent you the link in the Discord.
What are you trying to say? That they assumed the beginning and then proved it?
They assumed that the geodesics are incomplete to prove that the geodesics are incomplete.
They assume the geodesics are incomplete to prove they're incomplete?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Blitz, next week when we do this, you'll have access to put stuff on the screen as well.
Oh, nice.
So they assume geodesics are incomplete, but then they prove they are incomplete?
No, they assumed they were incomplete and then used that assumption to try to prove that they're incomplete. But that's obviously circular.
Yeah. We've been saying it the whole time. It's begging the question. If your conclusion is that the universe has a beginning, then you can't use the universe has a beginning in one of your premises.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I thought it was proven like mathematically and all that stuff.
No, this is not published in a mathematical journal. This would have never passed muster in a mathematical journal.
No way.
This is
Yo,
published in a
what
physics
even is
journal, and they're
this?
not as
Like,
careful in physics journals.
wait, what is it? I can't really see it.
Let me zoom in. On the let me scroll. On the past completeness of inflationary spacetimes.
And so actually, by the way, Paul Davies is like a really famous cosmologist. He's one of the authors of this paper. He's like exceptionally famous. But what this paper does, and they're actually super charitable. They're not just like BGV is wrong. What this paper does is like, look, as originally phrased, the BGV theorem is not only wrong, it's like too vague to even be wrong or right. So what they do is they say, okay, well, probably we should fix this. We should do our best to like interpret what they were trying to say, and then try to interpret what they were trying to say, fix it up, and then see does the theorem actually hold. So they do that. They fix it up in a nice geometric way in a way that applies to generalized Friedman-Robertson-Walker metrics. Then they write down a theorem using their fixed up version, the version that even makes sense. And then they show, well, it's actually not false or not true.
Wait,
it has counterexamples.
does it oh, okay, I see what you're trying to say now. So wait, let me just make sure that like you're talking about like this counterexample. It stays within the BGV theorem's like
yeah,
frame,
within like
right?
what the it stays
With
within
a
the
different
intent of the
does it
BGV
give a
theorem,
different
yeah.
conclusion within this BGV theorem's like frame, right?
Sorry, one more time.
So there's like a different conclusion
He's cutting out. Is he cutting out for
with
anybody
the
else?
same like
He cut
Hello?
out for just a second, but I think he's
Okay.
back.
So wait, I just want to make sure like you're saying that there exists a space-time that satisfies all the BGV's assumptions, but still avoids
Yep,
the
and-
conclusion?
Yeah. And they
Oh,
give it
so you have, like, an
explicitly. They give the
actual
formula for it
counterexample.
explicitly in this paper.
And it satisfies like the BGV, like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta see about this. How about
It's
we
in the
see
paper.
right now? Let's see. The BGV theorem, just before I search this, it's kinematic, right?
Yeah. This is there's no assumption of like specific properties of how the space-time responds to matter.
Okay. Does it depend on the local expansion properties of geodesics? It makes no
Well,
assumptions about energy
expansion rates
conditions,
aren't
right?
local, but it's like pseudo-local. Sure.
Okay. Whoa, wait. Am I lagging? Hello? Oh.
Yeah.
Why'd you guys take the paper off the screen?
Do you want it again? I thought you just needed the title.
Show me like what we doing here. Show me
It's
what's
been
going
on the screen the whole time. Do you need it? Do you want to write it
let's see what's
down?
going on here.
Take a screenshot, buddy.
We discussed the question of whether or not inflationary space times can be
Just take a screenshot.
We'll have the title.
past. Geodesic completeness is a
Power button and the down button usually. Or mine's powering up. You can figure it out.
all right. Put this paper into ChatGPT. Let's see what it says.
I'm not
Wait,
going to put it into ChatGPT.
Do you have the title?
You can just read it yourself.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
it. I'm trying to read it, but you guys won't let me.
Well, look, so maybe actually go home and read it and then come back at a later date, because like this is just not
Well,
this is not a good use of time.
Before we leave, okay, well, let me just say, like, I don't know if that paper is sure or not, but let's just put that to the side real quick. So, like, I heard you guys talking about evolution earlier. Can you guys prove a common ancestor?
He's lagging again.
Interesting. He didn't lag for me. I wonder if the. Anyways.
Oh, you're lagging too. You're lagging on my end too.
Really interesting. I wonder if my internet connection
Wait,
is
who's
slowing
lagging?
down.
Am I lagging or you guys lagging?
All of us. We had a huge power outage like yesterday, and I'm curious if we're having some more. Anyways, not some internet issues. Nevertheless, Matthew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. All right. So, what was your
All right,
question
well,
one more
I guess
time?
we got that out of the way, so there's no. What'd you say?
What was your question? Can you ask it again?
What about the second law, thermodynamics?
What about it?
Wouldn't entropy
What about it?
accumulate over time?
Not necessarily, and the entropy could it could be the case that entropy accumulates over time. It could also be the case that entropy is infinite, and you know,
Right.
if you add anything to the infinite entropy, then it's still infinite. This would be the case if the universe was infinitely large,
for
for
like
example.
small systems, for like small systems over short times, entropy can like fluctuate downward, right?
Well, it's not about the size of the system. Yeah,
I'm just saying for small systems over short times.
for any system with a what should we say, with a finite dimensional configuration space, then yeah, entropy can fluctuate downwards.
Do you know what the fluctuation theorem is?
Probably not. At least not by that name.
So the fluctuation theorem
Wanna tell me about it?
shows that the probability of a significant entropy decrease. Can you guys hear me? Am I lagging?
I can hear
Or
you.
guys, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So the fluctuation theorem shows that the probability of a significant entropy decrease becomes astronomically small as the system gets larger.
Oh, yeah,
and
that
the
I'm familiar
time
with.
scale gets
Sure.
longer. So
True.
yeah. So it says for a system the size of the universe, the probability of a macroscopic entropy decrease is effectively zero. What does that mean?
But it's not zero. It means it's not zero.
Okay. So it doesn't go to zero.
The probability does not go to zero. No, especially if
Wait,
especially if it's an exponential
wait.
relationship.
Oh, wait, if the universe were eternal, it would have had an infinite time to fluctuate, right? Even if entropy occasionally
Exactly.
decreased locally. Right.
Yeah.
So the overall entropy would still be toward maximum entropy, right?
No, it could have fluctuated down from at any point in the past that the universe has always existed.
Yeah. I'm saying even if it occasionally, like you already agreed, like does that means like it's decreasing
Maybe I just couldn't hear
locally,
you
like,
because you were
occasionally?
lagging, but
Is that what you So when I said even if entropy occasionally decreased locally, is that what you mean by like
no, what
maybe
if
it went it
no, I
fluctuated
mean what if
downward
it decreased globally? Right?
globally?
Yeah, in the entire universe.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. So the overall,
So the overall
would
entropy just
still
jumped
be
down to
toward maximum
a very, very
entropy.
small value.
I'm saying after infinite time, the universe would have reached heat
That
death.
would not if it can jump down after a finite amount of time. If it can just jump down and reset its entropy every trillion
I'm saying
years or
if
whatever, then
I understand, I'm
there's no
saying if the
inevitable heat death.
universe were eternal, and fluctuating, the most probable low entropy state would not be a full-blown universe with galaxies and stars and observers. But this is
The
the
most
Boltzmann's
probable low
brain
entropy
problem.
universe. What?
It says the most probable state would be
Yeah,
a single
So you have to be able to rule out Boltzmann brains. I
brain.
agree. You have to be able to rule out Boltzmann
It
brains.
says
That's fine.
it says that
Most
fluctuation
cosmological
theory.
models
Okay.
do. Most cosmological models do rule out Boltzmann brains. So like that's not gonna
Okay.
that's not a good escape for you.
What do you mean?
Doesn't saying but if you had an infinite past, then we should be Boltzmann brains and not actually structure. That's not a good escape because most models rule out Boltzmann brains. Most models don't
What
allow for
models?
the construction or for the availability of Boltzmann brains. The dynamics are just not in favor of them.
Okay.
Or allow them anyway.
All right. Well, just let me ask one more thing then.
What? Yeah, sure.
I just want to get off of the universe beginning for a second, but let me just ask one more thing before we do that. So, what law of physics permits S sub n plus 1 to be less than S sub n? What allows that?
S sub n to be less than, one more time?
What allows or what permits
What is the
S
S
sub
that you're
n?
referring to? Are you talking what does the variable S stand for in
So it's
this
just like
formula?
Sn, the total entropy after n cycles, and n is just like how many cycles
Sure.
have occurred.
So
So n is how
what's
many
the
cycles
question?
have occurred. Sn is the total entropy after n cycles.
What's the question?
So S sub n plus 1 to be less than S sub n. What allows that?
In physics, generally, unless there's something that disallows something, then something is possible. It's called there's a name for this. There's a name for this. Essentially, it's essentially anything that is possible is allowed. Well, okay. I mean, it's like obviously the case. Anything that's not impossible is possible, which is like trivially true, by
Anything
the way.
that's not impossible is possible.
Yeah.
So
So
you're
unless
saying
there's some
that
law of
it's not
physics that directly
impossible.
forbids that,
What I'm trying to say is because the second law predicts delta S is greater than 0.
yeah, that's
And
a
and
statistical
I'm saying
claim. It's
Sn
not
plus
a
1,
deterministic claim, right?
Sn plus 1 equals Sn plus delta S.
So that's a
And since
statistical claim,
and
not a
since delta S
deterministic
is
claim. You understand the difference?
okay, so what are you trying to say? Like
So the
law is
second
just
law of
purely
physics is not a
statistical.
deterministic law. It's not always the case that the entropy will always increase.
Yeah, I know. I
What it
understand
is that overwhelmingly, it is the case that the entropy will increase, statistically speaking. Like, 99 out of 100 times, or 99 trillion out of 100 trillion times, or whatever.
I know,
Like,
but
it's a
statistics
statistical
doesn't mean
claim.
anything. I'm saying, but statistics doesn't mean anything can happen. It means the probability of a significant entropy decrease is so small that it's effectively
The
impossible
point
for
is,
a system the size of
but
the
it's
universe.
not effectively impossible. It's just small.
Yeah, it's
If
so
if the
small.
probability is non-zero, then that means that it
So
is
small.
possible.
It's effectively impossible for a system the size of the universe.
That means nothing in cosmology. Saying something is effectively impossible means nothing.
Well, this is statistics.
That's not how statistics works. Statistics doesn't work by,
You're saying
the
that the
probability is
second
close
law
to
is
zero, therefore it is
statistical.
zero. Like, that's not how that works.
You're saying the second law is statistical, though.
It is statistical, right? And the
Yeah,
point is
does that
that
mean
the
anything can
second law
happen?
allows for entropy to decrease suddenly, for example.
This is literally exactly why I brung up the Boltzmann brain problem.
The models that I'm referring to don't encourage or don't allow for the development of Boltzmann brains. So I don't see how
Well,
this
I'm
is
saying
related at
that the
all.
second law is not an absolute, like, it's not
Yeah, so
absolute
the
like the
entropy of a
conservation. It's not
system
absolute
can
like the
decrease.
conservation of energy. I'm saying it's a statement about probabilities for small systems over short time.
Yeah, and the probability of the
Entropy can
entropy
fluctuate
decreasing,
downward.
the probability of the entropy of being lower after one cycle than after the first cycle, say, is small but not zero.
I'm saying entropy can fluctuate downward. This is quantified by the fluctuation theorem, which shows that small temporary decreases in
Then you
entropy
agree that the entropy in a subsequent cycle
But I already
can
told
be
you the
lower than the
fluctuation
entropy in the
theorem.
initial cycle.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm saying
friends,
Yeah,
I love this conversation. However, we've got like 22 minutes left in the live stream,
yeah, we should
and
read super chats.
we've got 100 super chats left.
I'll just join another
we're
time.
never gonna get through them.
I'm gonna go look at that paper.
Go check it out, Matthew. So,
All right.
I've got a hard commitment today. I've got family from out of town that are coming
Me too.
by. So I think this is what we're gonna have to do, friends. I'm gonna put in all of the super chats that are $6.66 and over, and see how many, because at 3 o'clock or so, I got to run into this blitz. I apologize that is the case. We love and appreciate everyone that supports the stream, but there are some times that we've got some hard commitments that we have to take care of. Deepest apologies for that. Let me see. Put in a filter.
We have one $20 super chat from Emir Derovich, which was just thank you for being you. Thank you so much, Emir.
Oh,
Always
hell
good to see you.
yeah. Let me do all the donos so we can see the donos as well. Okay, cool.
Very generous.
Very, very much. I'm going to start at the oldest from Squeegee Expert. Good to see you, Squeegee. Says, Hail Nero, agreed. Theists expect skeptics to believe the truth of the resurrection using flimsy third-hand testimony about 100 climate scientists isn't enough to say climate change is false. That's hilarious. That's actually a good point. We have hordes and hordes of scientists making claims today that they'll reject, but a couple dudes, maybe from the ancient world, made some claims in a book, and now that's automatically to be trusted.
By the way, just before we continue, when it says that this super chat is on overlay, but it's not highlighting it in green unless I click it. Kind of weird.
Oh, interesting. Well, it might turn green once you click off of it when we go to the next one.
Okay. From Hunter Girl with the $10, we need an emoji of a ventriloquist dummy for when Justin calls people dummy. It works on multiple levels since these people are just parrots about info. That's actually a good point. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be actually pretty good. I actually, there's a crash test dummy manufacturer not too far from here. I can probably pull one up.
I believe
From
it.
simply simply just it. The Bible establishing sin to be a crime of God's law, and it only applies to the house of Israel. The entirety of Christian grounding is meaningless, given no Gentile has the capacity to commit sin. No, that's not seem to be really the case. So in the Bible, the God of the Hebrews does think that the foreigners have defiled themselves and committed grave abominations, even though they're not in covenant with Yahweh. That being said, there are some parts of the law that are, like we would say, specific to the Israelites, where you're not going to worry about, like the temple rituals and things like that are going to be a little bit different, but in terms of the law, it says in the book of Numbers that they have one law, both for the native born Hebrew and for the foreigner. So it seems that they did expect the foreigner to abide by the same law. The Christian, if they came from a pagan background, I would expect that the God of the Hebrew Bible would think that they're a sinner as well. And Paul agrees.
From Kamran Vino Rosso with the $10. This guest, his, was the same in Matthew's live on Christmas Eve 6 months ago and embarrassed himself like a clown and got kicked. It was so bad. Hashtag just in time, Ian and Doctor.
I've never seen that user before. So they've been making the rounds?
Actually, maybe he was on my... I'd have to check. I'd have to check my document to see if I recognize his name. But apparently...
Oh, damn. Well, I mean, listen, these clowns do get around. They live hop from one to another, desperate to get cooked. So I'm not shocked that he's been elsewhere getting cooked. From Binary Ghost, thank you for this another super chat. This argument of most documented person is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Bereft of spiritual substance, Bruce Wayne or Michael Jackson may as well be worshipped if this is the criteria. That's a fair point. Like, you can make lots of documents about fictitious people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. I'll just leave it at that. From Robert Summers, I was watching a video by another New Testament scholar, and that person said that Jesus came and redefined the neighbor from the love thy neighbor from the fellow Hebrews to everyone. Is that true, Justin?
It can be read that way. So the story of the Good Samaritan, I think, Jesus understood that to be a little bit of, yes, kind of everybody. But the way it would have read to a Jew in that time period would be not that you have to love all people, that all people are your neighbor, but specifically the Samaritans, because the divide between the Samaritans and Jews was basically because they were mixed with the Assyrians. So they had foreign blood. They weren't like real Jews. And
so what you're telling me is specifically literally your neighbor.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah, because remember the Hebrew word reah typically would refer to your kin, your own people, someone who's really near to you, right? And so you could see like a Jewish person in the first century might say, well, they're not my kin, they're mixed. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So a Jew in that time period could have heard that and said, oh, actually, the Samaritans and the Jews are supposed to be together. We are supposed to be neighbors. However, there's enough in the Gospel of Luke where Jesus gives parables about the foreigners and the Gentiles coming in, as long as they're willing, and the Gospel of John especially, as long as they're willing to do what Jesus asks of them, Jesus is perfectly fine with them being, we'll say, grafted in to the children of Abraham. So that is also a plausible reading. So I would say either reading is plausible, but I think his original audience would have not seen it that particular way, but his original audience didn't have the Gospel of John. They didn't have the Gospel of Luke to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tahodo, thank you for the $10 super chat. I asked because Christians want us to believe that the jealous God who kills over incense sent somebody else to worship. I'm not buying it. True. When Nadab and Abihu went into the Holy of Holies intoxicated and gave the unauthorized incense burning, God gave them a burning of his own. And to be sure, it was more than just the wrong incense. That's not a good way to phrase it. They did enter completely drunk, right? But you're right. It's weird that like God is that petty. Like if you show up drunk in his house, you're like, well, bad things are about to happen. But also
it's almost like he's a dude.
Right. Yeah, well, he's just a Bronze Age dude that just,
Like if somebody showed up drunk in my house, I'd be a little bit upset.
Sure.
Like if I
Would
was
you
an all-loving, all-powerful, all-knowing, metaphysical, abstract, non-temporal being, I'd be a lot less concerned.
perhaps? Yeah.
From I'm the Big Cheese, you should write down the claim on the screen before debunk or addressing it, so when the theist tries to gish gallop or move goalposts, we can point to the claim being addressed on the screen. It works sometimes for some people. It's definitely not something that's always worth doing, because it's not always the case that people will be bad faith, but at least sometimes, that's Ian and I sometimes bring up the notepad, and we're probably going to get that going here. So
Actually, I do have a notepad that's already group approved, and you can use it.
need to figure out how to use that then.
It's just a panel you
So
can,
if I just
you can
go
drop in.
like this, and then I go open,
Go to Notepad.
well, it should be send to, there we go. Connect. Save? Why isn't it showing?
I have not added the
Load.
Notepad overlay to the screen yet. I've got it on my
I
stream.
see.
I didn't add it on this one, but give me a second and I will put it on the stream real quick. Let me add it real quick.
Well, it's okay. We don't have to worry about it now.
Yeah.
Um,
anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I think you're next.
Right. I'm just throwing the Notepad up. Okay, we got it on one. Let's see. The next super chat is from, one second, Tutored. Hey, thank you for the $20 super chat, friend. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him, male and female, he, them. Genesis 1:27. God created male men and female men. W for transgender. That's it's funny because in the modern English translations, typically they would fix that stuff. In the ancient language, like the problem is like especially in Hebrew, the default way of saying something is typically in the masculine. It's not always to mean that it actually is a masculine. It's just that was like the default form
Like
of
the
speech.
default, yeah.
But you're right. That is, if you look at the conjugation of the Hebrew text, it really does say, in his image, he. Well, actually, let me pull it up.
I love me some female men.
So I've got it here, and the actual word is otam, which would be them. He created them, male and female.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious to know what edition you're reading, because this one has them in it for Genesis 1:27. Oh, I see. It says he created the man in his image, and in the image of God, he created him, male and female. That's probably what you're referring to. They created him, male and female.
I think that's referring to God doing the creating. I think the him is God.
Well, no. The subject of the verb is, or the object of the verb typically comes after the subject. The way I would read this is that in English there's a comma. In his image, God created him, meaning Adam, comma, male and female, he created them. I wouldn't think that the text, based on my short reading here, I wouldn't think that the text is saying that him includes them. But there is a plausible reading for it, because Adam is a collective noun and it can refer to a multiplicity of people. So it is possible to read it that way. And when you're using a word in that particular fashion, then you can use singular pronouns to refer to the collective singular noun. So it does get a little bit messy. So my deepest apologies on that. That's all I got to say about that.
And from Kurt Fell with the $10, I will say it's difficult for me to conceptualize the universe being infinite, but at the same time expanding. I do tend to believe the universe is infinite in time and infinite in space, though. Yeah, it's hard to conceptualize, because when we think of, like, when you and I are thinking of like a thing expanding like a balloon, we're thinking of a thing with edges, and those edges getting further away from each other. That's how we would formalize what the colloquial understanding of expansion is. The edges of the thing are getting further away from each other, right? But that's just not what is meant by expansion in the setting of the universe. There is a quantity called the scale factor. The scale factor roughly corresponds to the distance between two things that, if you plucked them down and glued them in place in space-time, the scale factor, the rate at which the scale factor changes, will tell you the rate at which those two things will move apart from each other. But it doesn't say anything about the universe having an edge. It doesn't say anything about the universe being finite.
Sure. and a $6.35, almost. Oh, actually, this is in euros. That's why it came up. Caller, I don't understand BGV. Also, caller, I don't even know enough to know if this is a straw man. Epic cell phone, and that is basically what we witnessed. It was
It
a sad
happens.
occurrence.
It's
Yeah,
totally normal for a man his age.
it really is. Hey, friends, thank you so much for being here today. And for we had when we started out the live stream, we were kind of
Had
fumbling,
some technical
making
issues.
trying to make the new stuff work. We got it going, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for all the support. I've never seen this. Might be a record. I've never seen this
think it
many
is.
super chats in a live stream ever.
Yeah, you guys were great. This is gonna definitely help. So I will be entirely honest with everybody. We've been struggling to find people to come join us in the July thing. So
Yeah.
what we can do with the donations that you guys offered is we can start offering larger financial incentives for people to come join us. Because obviously we'll want to compensate people for their time, but we just don't have a lot of money from in the apologetic. Can at least perhaps get some more guests for the live show in a few weeks.
Right. Yeah. So we'll be here again next week. Thank you so much for joining us. And
might
go
not
watch
be.
Ian. Oh.
Yeah, go watch Ian. And I'm gonna go have fun at Buc-ee's.
Oh shit.
That's what I'm doing this afternoon.
See you later, friends.